start your day today on the ninth day that you've now been here. It's been over a full week, and it's your second free day since you've been here. And it's the first free day you've spent separated from your delightful roommates. Uh, and you wake up far earlier than any of the rest of them for your day of training. What would you like to do before you go?
And just to check up on that, I'm starting at 4:30 in the morning, is that correct?
Yes.
So I have to wake up before 4:30.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Or was it
Um,
or was it 5? I think you had to wake up at 4:30 and be there at 5, I think was the thing.
oh, okay.
I
Okay. I just
I
remember it was
believe
super
so.
early, but
It is super early. I believe that you're going to be there an hour before opening. Let me check just really quick cuz I have that information down. Nope, you start at 4 in the morning
oh, I see.
because it opens
Interesting.
at 5 in the morning. So you have to
Ah,
get up at a ripe 3:30 in the morning to get ready and then get there by
cool.
4.
Um, so Dove doesn't have as much time as they normally would to get ready in the morning, which is fine. They can still manage, you know.
Yeah.
I think they pull their hair back to keep it out of the way, just kind of braid it back simple in the morning, but quick enough.
Mhm.
Um, I don't, well, I don't have a uniform or anything like that yet, so I'm not gonna worry too much about like what Dove is wearing currently.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like they go to the bathroom, they like get ready, you know, wash their face, do all of the basic stuff at least.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it's pretty simple. Then they're ready to go.
Yeah, awesome. Just for a clarifying question, do you think you wear your uniform or do you think you wear your casual clothes?
I think on the free day, I think Dove typically would wear just casual clothes because yeah.
Okay. Cool, 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 cool. All right. Uh, and so after getting ready, you just want to head out straight there.
Yes.
It is a very surreal experience being so tired and aware that it's so early. Um, but it is still like twilight. It's still sunlight out. That's wild.
Yep.
Um, uh, okay. So you go and you walk over to the Fire Jill Cafe, and by the time you get there, actually, you already see your manager, uh, Alina, waiting for you outside uh, before unlocking the door. And you see that despite the earliness, I don't think that you're necessarily like super tired, but it is a little bit early for you. Um, but she is wide awake, as elves love to be. uh, and she is kind of like holding a mug that she like personally has, and she sort of waves you over and say, bright and early. Sometimes when I train people, they like to drag their feet a little bit.
Oh, no, I would never imagine being late to something like this. But no,
Uh,
I'm used to waking up early.
well, that's great to hear. I know who I can reach out to if we ever need it on the weekends.
Of course, I really wouldn't mind at all.
Uh, as you guys are sort of chit chatting, she goes to touch the stone beside the door that unlocks the arcane lock. And she brings you in, and it's very interesting how interesting it is to be at the Fargel Cafe when there is nobody in it, because it's a very big space, but it's always really filled with people. And you see that the chairs are up on tables. You see that some of the rugs are moved. None of the fires are lit. And it is a very serene moment. And I'm gonna really quickly put on the music for the Fire Jolt Cafe. Actually, wait, fuck, hold on. Okay, and we are back. So you are brought in, and she very quickly goes to sort of like wave a hand as some of the rugs are laid out and chairs are pulled off tables, and you realize that opening this place seems a lot easier than it would be for when you guys would open Velvet's or do any sort of like cleanup for event, as she very quickly, with like a wave of a hand, does all of it. And she takes you over to the counter, and you actually get a chance to see the back room behind the counter in the Fire Jewel Cafe, and I'll get you a little picture of it. You see that it's got this sort of tiled area in the back with some chairs. You see the stove that you assume is where you cook all of the actual food and stuff. And you see like little cubby holes to put your things and that sort of thing, and just a little plant in the corner. And she gestures to the area and says, "Well, welcome to your home away from home. This is ground zero for everything that happens in here."
Oh, I suppose I have a question to begin with. I just threw on my daily clothes this morning, but I did notice that while working, you do wear a uniform. I
Yes,
could
yes,
change
yes.
quickly into that if you'd prefer.
Oh, yes, yes, if you want to. I think that it would help save your clothes. The first couple days tend to be a little bit messy. I'll warn you ahead of time, coffee stains, but... and you see that she goes to kind of like rustle through some drawers in a little cabinet in the back, and she kind of pulls out the uniform, which has the smock and the apron, and hands it to you and say, "They're one size fit all. You can just throw it over your clothes if you want."
Oh, perfect. And we'll quickly get changed into that.
You have your uniform. You can add it to your inventory.
Should I just call it cafe uniform?
Yeah, you can call it cafe uniform. And if you want to put it in with its actual stats, you can just call it like common clothes. Well, you can put common clothes and then name it cafe uniform.
Yeah, I gotcha. Go ahead.
Yeah, and as you are sort of shrugging it on, she... Sorry, I was in the middle of finding it. Ah, there we go. Okay, so as you're sort of shuffling your smock and apron on, Alina is going back to sort of rustling around through sections, and she pulls out a book. And it looks more similar to like a binder with like pages you can take in and out. But she goes to hand it to you and say, "And here is going to be your bread and butter for everything that you could need to know." Sorry, Chauncey's crying. Everything you should need to know. And she hands you the Fire Jewel Cafe Employee's Handbook. So you get a
Double
little
take it.
handbook.
Is it my copy?
She will say that, okay, no, sorry. It says V. So there's only one copy, but you have access to it when you're here.
Okay, cool.
And she goes to clap her hands, and she says, okay. I'm sure you've realized this as you've been here, but the Fire Jolt Cafe is hands down the most important building on campus. Everyone on campus comes in and out through our establishment. And so I like to make sure that every person who visits has a wonderful and consistently wonderful visit. So everything in this book will tell you exactly how you need to make all of your drinks, how to mess with the machines, how to clean them, how to fix them if issues are happening. Prices also, anything that you could need to know you can reference here. And she goes to kind of gesture for you to follow her into, like, behind the bar out front. And she's going to walk you down the map of the bar. And she's going to point out, like, this is the coffee machine. You have to clean it out every day before you start your shift. You can use magic if you like. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, or if you're not sure you can yet, I would prefer you to hand scrub it. But, you know, you'll get better over time with that sort of thing. And she comes over to the cash register, which is like a little, like, typewriter situation, kind of like Doriga has. And she says, and this is where you can bring people in. It just has, like, the numbers, so you type in the prices, which is why sometimes you have to check how much things are in the book. Modifications obviously cost more. So I trust your judgment to be able to price items accordingly. She slaps her hand on a jar beside the cash register. This is the tip jar. And if you look at this on the back, and she points to, like, a little, like, sticker with, like, a glowing 0 on it, and she says, this updates so you know how many tips you get all day.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes. Your tips will be factored into your pay. So you don't get the ones each day that you work. But if you work every day, then you'll get a little bit of all of the tips that come through. Let me see. On the topic of cleaning supplies are in the back, and so are things that are stocked. So if you run out of something, you can really quickly run back there and grab it. Generally, it's not only one person every day working, and the way that our shifts will work is that one person will be checking people out and making drinks, and then the other person will generally be serving and running the newsstand. Oh, I have to tell you about the newsstand. And she, like, takes you over to a corner of the Fire Jolt. And I will show you where that is. Give me 1 second.
While you're looking that up, I think if possible, like, if there's any, like, things around here that you could, like, use to, like, pin your hair up with, I think Dev will actually take their braid and kind of twist it around the back of their head so it's kind of like a bun, and pin it up that way.
That's really cute. That's really cute. I like the idea that maybe you pick up, like, a stick maybe used for stirring, like one of those disposable sticks, and you just put it in your hair.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot too. And she takes you over to this corner. And it's kind of like the room that's next to the fireplace room that Quintilius always goes into. Mm-hmm. And it's this area. And I don't know if you guys have technically been in the newsstand, but it's essentially a place with like rows of like knickknacks and magazine racks, and it has a counter also.
I have bought a newspaper from here. I don't
Okay.
know that it was ever described to me, though.
That is a-okay. So it's kind of like this long room, and I will give you the direct description of it. Um, yeah, so it's a small store. It sells magazines, knickknacks, posters, stickers, and other decorative leisure items. Um, and most of the things here cost the same amount because they're all like kind of cheap, just cheap, cute things. And you can see that they have the counter where you stand to check people out. They have the bookshelves and the shelves that just have the items, and then they have like a bin of knickknacks back here where it's that square. And then she goes to kind of like explain like what it is, and she says, so if you work over here, obviously you would check people out. You would also make sure to check to make sure that this place is clean and orderly. We don't want people leaving items where they're not supposed to go. So generally, if you were in a server position, occasionally you would come over here and check, or if people asked for you to go and check them out, you would go and help them check out. Okay?
Dove smiles and says, "Yes, I follow you so far."
Okay. How comfortable are you with cooking?
um,
I'm sorry.
I find that my strengths are typically in making drinks or more precise measurements. I am good at baking.
Okay, okay. We can definitely work with that. Thankfully, though, a good portion of what is sold here are drinks and bakery items. And we don't always make, at least the bakery items, we don't make them to order or anything.
Oh, your mic got all weird.
So that's completely fine. I just like to make sure before I put anybody anywhere. And she goes to kind of walk you around. And she goes to say another thing that servers do is that they have to go into all of these side rooms. They're quiet rooms, so they're meant to be ones like away from the hustle and bustle. But we do have to check in with people every once in a while, see if they want anything to drink, anything to eat, if they need to be cleaned up, that sort of thing. And she gestures to all of these like side rooms that are on the other side, and I'll send you a little picture of those. And they're just like little study rooms.
Oh, that's not hard to follow at all. This really isn't too different from working at an inn.
Thankfully, we've really streamlined and made it very concise. We have to make sure that there's not a lot of room for error when we are checking out hundreds of people every day. But it's really
only the most important guests in all of Strixhaven, I imagine.
Of course, which is everyone. Because everyone at Strixhaven is important.
That's a good way of looking at it.
But she's gonna go ahead and take you back over to the bar, and she also shows you like where to find things behind the bar. So she's like, oh, milks are over here, water is here, like if you need to do this, this is how you do that. And it's a lot of stuff that's also very clearly detailed into the handbook, so they're not really things I'm gonna go super hard into holding you to be able to do on your job. Like, I trust Dove to be smart enough to be able to remember where like milk is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Basically, the way that I'm thinking about it with food is that baked items are probably made in the morning, but things like sandwiches and stuff are made like multiple times throughout the day. So she says that like if you have a hard time making like stuff like that, then we can always like schedule like people like Mina to come in and like make those things for like an hour and then go do something else. And that sort of thing. Trying to think if there's anything else that I really have to debrief you on for this.
is there any other opening tasks that I should be aware of?
It's a very good question. Really, opening is just focused on getting things ready for the day. So the majority of it is obviously unlocking the doors, uh, resetting up the tables, making sure that the clothes was good. So making sure that things are still clean. Um, making sure that no like wayward creatures, mascots have stumbled into our establishment. But thankfully, it seems like we're okay. Um, oh, I can show you how to clean the coffee machine. And she's gonna take you over to the coffee machine and like show you how to do it, which is like kind of an intensive task because she like takes off the top and like has to like get on a stool and like reach in to the machine. Which I'm not gonna say whether or not it scares your character, but it's a little bit of like a big like endeavor. So you imagine that this is probably a majority of what opening task is.
I have a question, OOC, really quick.
Yeah.
Could I use prestidigitation to clean this because it does instantly clean an object no longer than 1 cubic foot?
I believe so, but I'm gonna check really quick because it describes that in the one shot. Yes, you can do that. Are you like not bringing that up to ask her, or are you just asking yourself?
It was kind of just a question for God to see if I had that option, but I think Dub will also speak up and go, I do have prestidigitation. Would you allow that to be used to clean the coffee machine?
Yes, that would be a perfect example of something you can do to use to clean. Well, I'm already elbow deep in this machine, so I'll go ahead and show you how to do it normally
Of
in
course.
case anything
It's still good
happens.
to know
Yes, of
how
course.
to do it manually.
This will definitely help speed up any opening shifts you manage to do, and it means you will be a great closer. She is going to finish up showing you how to clean, and she's going to put her hand on the coffee machine, and she's going to say, "Now, Dove, I'm going to level with you. Sometimes we get steam methods in here. They really like how hot and wet it is."
All right, I do remember you mentioning something along those lines at the interview.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you're fully aware that if there's a steam method in here, don't panic, but also they do have to be out. They cannot be in the coffee machine. I don't think I have to tell you that, but I want to make sure.
Of course. Are they typically as aggressive as they seemed in the interview?
Sometimes, but thankfully steam methods are not particularly difficult to handle. One time we had a magma method, and that was a weird one, but just be careful of little elementals who really like the fire and water in the coffee machine.
All right, I will do my best to humanely dispose of them from the store.
You're very sweet.
Would you like me to practice making drinks as well this morning, or just observe you making drinks at first?
So I figured that what I would like to do potentially is to walk you through some of our more popular drinks. Things like the teas and the normal coffees are very easy. You can just pour them from containers that we also make in opening before the rush. But for the more specialized drinks, I will walk you through them, and then I want you to try to recreate them while also referencing the manual, and we can see how you sort of place there. And then if you're comfortable with it, I would like to see how well you manage making some of our food options.
Yes, that sounds like a wonderful idea. I'm sure that Quintilius's drink will be good practice.
Oh yes, I'm glad to know that you already are aware. And he's gonna be here the minute it opens.
Oh, a first customer. He's always been here before we had the chance to be here, but I never knew how early he got here.
He most certainly is our most consistent customer, and he is. How do I word this? There's a phrase I've heard at my coffee shop. Now, obviously, you're brand new, so I wouldn't presume that you would have to make it. But if you do, if you mess up, he's not particularly mean about it. But I will say that he is a lot more gracious if you make it correctly.
That's understandable, I think. I'm friends with him, so hopefully he won't mind too much.
Well, uh, well, considering his tips line the pockets of every person who works here, hopefully, if you're friends with him, they'll be our wallets will be a bit heavier. And she kind of gives you a wink.
Dove laughs at that and gives, I think Dove smiles and kind of gives like a mock salute and says, "I won't let you down, sir."
I love this. I love this. I think they're so cute. Okay. So then I think that she's just gonna spend like most of the hour just like showing you how to do a task and then making you do it. So I think what I would like you to do is do just like a general roll to just see like how well you did on your first day. I think could be really cute.
So just a d20.
I'm gonna give you something to add to it. I think because of this is all technical stuff and you're not technically doing any of the stuff that would require you interacting with people, I think I'm just going to ask you to add dexterity. And I think that that'll be a fun one.
11.
Delicious. The DC is very low for this. So you did really good for your first day. I think that Alina is genuinely like pretty impressed and pretty like happy with like your like how well you're picking it up, because I think that, and I think she tells you this, I think it like reflects like that you might actually be really good at the job and you'll only get better.
Yay.
Yay. Okay. Do you have any questions for me as Alina? Because I have a little scene I wanted to wrap up the cafe section with, but if you have something that you want to like say or ask or do in this sort of training period to like elaborate on it, then feel free to tell me.
Not currently. I think Dove follows along pretty well. I think from here on out it's kind of just practice through, practice. And not too many questions about that. I assume like we'll be making the food and stuff for the picnic and the drinks like kind of after the morning rush is over.
Oh yeah, do you want to ask about it now? I don't know if you asked about it yet last time. You might have.
I might have, but I'll just have Dove speak up again kind of before the cafe opens, while it's just still the two of them and like they're not busy. And Dove will just go, I don't mean to bother you about this again, especially on my first day, but once we're done training for the morning, of course, I am more than willing to help make the food and drink or the request I think Dev spoke about, but now I don't remember. But
I think you mentioned it. I think you at least mentioned it. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that you mentioned it because I think that she sort of gives you a crooked smile and say, "Oh, why would you have to help make the food? You just made a whole bunch." She kind of gives you like a grin.
Oh, that is true, I suppose. I would have felt terrible just making you or you and Mina doing all of the work, especially because I work here now.
Oh, no, no. You misunderstand me. We can use the food that you made.
Oh, that's wonderful then. Well, I suppose my question is answered.
I thought it would be a nice reward, especially for how well that you did. And this way you can brag to all your friends that you made it.
Thank you, Alina. That's very sweet.
Of course. I also want to say something that I just think is really cute. I think because I'm a barista, and this is one of my favorite parts about training. So the thing about training is that you have to try everything because people will ask you stuff. So as you made drinks with Alina, you got to try every drink on the menu.
Aww. I love that.
I just think that that's a fun tidbit. So now you've had every drink on the menu, and you can formulate which ones you like.
Yay.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that wraps up the cafe section pretty well.
When Quintilius comes in, I don't think he knows that Dove was working here.
I do not think so. This is actually a very good question because, are you attempting to stay until Quintilius gets here? Because since this is your training, you don't actually have a shift today. So I imagine something really cute is that you were going to be like walked out by Alina while like Mina was going to be unlocking the door to start her shift. And if you left, you would also see Quintilius waiting to get in because he's a fucking hound. But if you want to attempt to make his drink, you can say that to Alina and you can try it if you want to have if you want to try to do that.
Yeah, because my thought process, probably what yours was too, is like Dove would probably be leaving at 5 just because training purposes, you always do that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to be put on the floor your first day.
Yeah, but I think maybe not like getting in the way once they open, but maybe even like before they're open, like before Quintilius is even in there, Dove's like, I would like to try making his drink.
Oh my god, no, that's really cute. You can have it ready for him. Fuck, that's good. That's really good. Okay. All right. I like that idea. I'm going to walk you through the rolls you actually have to make his drink because there's canon rolls for it. Okay, so you have to make 5 rolls to make this drink.
Okay.
Okay, so what you're gonna first give me is a perception.
What the hell? Okay. Not good. 7.
Okay, we'll see if you can get there. What are your proficiencies, by the way, for tools? It's alchemist supplies?
Alchemist supplies, flute, lute, land vehicles, biol.
It's very funny. Unfortunately, you don't have brewer supplies, so you don't get a bonus to these rolls. Okay, so next one, I need a sleight of hand.
8.
Okay. I need a performance check.
Okay. I'm good at those. Fuck you, 25.
Okay. I need an investigation check.
Not good at those. No! Not one.
Okay.
I guess this is fitting for my first drink, but Jesus Christ, I didn't think I was gonna roll this bad.
And then
I got an 18 on something I was already good at.
Fuck, that's really good. Okay, and then the last one I need is an acrobatics check.
15.
This is so fucking funny what you failed and passed on. It's so funny the things that you were good and bad at in this drink. Okay. Oh fuck. Okay, hold on. I have to write some things down.
Thank God I'm doing this before he's here. Wait, um, I don't. No, I don't get any bonuses to skills by having a job. That's just clubs, right?
Yeah, you don't get a bonus.
Okay.
Okay, actually, hold on 1 second. I do have to finish writing this down, and then I'm gonna check something. I'm gonna check something. Okay, let me go to check something really quick. This is really funny. I'm sorry. I'm in love with this.
No, it's very good.
Okay, you want to know what? Amazing. You have a chance to redeem some of these. So because you've been looking at the handbook this whole time, not only to make the drink, but also because you've been training, you get to add a D4 to all of those if you want.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Yes.
So would that be 2, 3, 5 D4?
Yeah.
Okay.
God, that nat one's really funny though.
I just rolled all 5 of them at once.
That is a-okay. So a 3 to the first one. So 3 to the first one makes it a 10. Okay, the 3 to the second one makes it 11. Okay, 1 second.
Like how I rolled a 1 for the performance check. That's fucking fine.
That's fine. Didn't need it.
I don't need it.
2. I love that your investigation check is still like
It's a hot 3.
It's a hot 3.
Wait, no, it's
a 4, but a nat 1,
It's a
which I just
4.
think is really funny. And then okay. Okay, cool. This is a little bit better because it changed one of them. Okay, so I have a question for you, and this is a legitimate question because I think it's fun.
Mhm.
Are you like, did you ask Alina to like watch you make it, or are you just trying to make it and want to see Quintilius's reaction first? What are you doing with this? What is your plan?
I think Dove is making this because Dove's like, oh, I know Quintilius is like the first customer, and I know he orders like a really difficult drink. It's like infamous. But I don't think Dove expects to be able to like give it to him because it's a really difficult drink to make. Dove is a perfectionist. Dove knows that they fucked up on this drink, I think, and so I don't think they're gonna let anyone get this to drink until Alina like inspects it.
That's really fair. That's really fair. Okay, I'm gonna have Alina inspect it, and I'm gonna see if I'm gonna say that then she checks it at the end, and I'm gonna roll to see what she notices about the drink. Okay. So she's gonna kind of look at it. She's gonna kind of like turn it back and forth and like look at it while it's still sort of like uncapped and stuff. And she kind of gives it like a smell and like swishes it around. She doesn't like drink from it obviously because like if it's good, you know what I mean. But she's gonna kind of tap her chin a bit and says, "It looks good. This looks really good." And she looks like she's thinking really hard.
Dove looks like when Alina says that, Dove kind of like pauses and goes like, I could have done better, honestly.
definitely believe that. It's your first day and it's a very difficult drink, but I mean, the presentation looks amazing. Look at the foam art you made.
Oh, thank you.
That's what the performance check was. You got a 25 to make a really pretty foam art on top.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, Dev nods and says, "Well, I wasn't expecting it to be perfect. It would have been nice, of course, but it was very insightful to practice with something difficult to make at first."
I think that's a good output. She looks like conflicted, but she's looking at it and she says, I can't see anything wrong with it.
Honestly, I don't think Quintilia should pay for this drink. I can see the things that I've messed up on. You could try it if you like. I mean, I could pay for it since I did use resources, of course.
No, I'm not gonna make you pay. I'm not gonna make you pay for a drink whenever you're still learning. Mistakes happen. I think the idea of not of paying for it is a good idea. It is an expensive drink, but I mean, you did say he was your friend. You could give it to him. He could be the judge of it.
That. I suppose that's true. I just.
Don't do it if you're not comfortable with it. Would you like to try it? You could have it. Of course, you have to make a decision because multiple people can drink from this drink.
Yes. I'm thinking. I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. Take your time. This is very fun. I'm really excited to tell you the lowdown of the rolls after this is done because it's really fun.
No, I think Dev is too much of a perfectionist to let Quintilius have this drink. Not until it's perfect.
You have to make it perfect for your mans.
I think Dev will just say that they'll take it.
Okay, you can take it. Do you want to try it?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So what's very fun about this drink, and I'm going to walk you through what all of these rolls were, right? So the rolls for this was basically the perception was to be able to identify how you needed to make it, right? The sleight of hand was to measure the ingredients specifically. A performance was the foam art. Very fun. Your investigation was you taste testing it. And then the acrobatics was just to clean up afterwards, which is why it looked really good. But see, here's like the thing. Your failure of the perception meant that you didn't really know how to tackle this drink in the proper order, right? And then your investigation failed, so you didn't have any idea how this was going to taste. But like everything else looked good because you almost failed the measurements also, but that handbook saved your life and you got to correctly measure everything out. So the literal thing is that everything looked good, but it would have tasted bad, which I just find really funny.
Really funny, Dev. That's so perfect for Dev, I think.
I know, like it looks so good, and you're like both you and Aline are just looking at it like it looks right, but I don't trust it, and you taste it, and you're like, yep.
That's like I knew it. Perfect. Okay, yeah.
She's gonna pat you on the back, anyway though, and say, you gave a really good effort though. A lot better than a lot of people. Sometimes multiple people have to work on that drink.
Oh my goodness.
I will not talk badly about your friend. But this is a whole thing.
You really don't have to sugar your words around me. I know it's I mean, I've seen firsthand that it's quite a difficult drink to master, at least. Is there anything else you need from me for the day?
No, I believe that that is everything, and you are free to go, soldier.
What time would you like me to report back tomorrow?
You can come by right after class if you like.
Of course.
Oh, well, no, not after class. I'll say in slot 2 makes the most sense because you can have a closing shift.
Oh, perfect. Yes. That will do this.
That will do this. You are going to be the main closer of the Virgil Cafe, and I think that's very cute. And as you are sort of walked out, right as opening time happens, you pass by Mina, who gives you a sort of smile and say, "Hey champ, holding in?"
Yes, managed to survive my first day at least.
Well, that's good. The bar's a battlefield. I'm sure you'll hear that many a time here.
I've heard it here and there already.
I'll see you later, yeah?
Yeah, of course. I'll see you at the picnic. Good luck out there, soldier.
She's gonna give you a little playful hip check and she's gonna pass you and go to work. You do pass by Quintilius, which I just think is very fun because obviously he's here when it opens. And he sort of goes to like walk in after Mina. Not like right behind, like letting her get in first and then he was gonna go in, right? And he sees you leaving and he's about to go in and he's like, "Oh, this is early for you. They're letting people in earlier now?"
No, actually, this was my first day working there.
Oh.
I tried to make you drink as practice, but I'll need a few more tries, I think, before I can give it to you.
You see that he sort of like laughs and he seems very tickled at that idea and he says, "Well, I'll be waiting with bated breath to see the finished result. It'll be nice to have another highlight of my visits."
I'll primarily be a closer, unfortunately, but I can see you around on free days at least.
That's true, that's true. We just keep running into each other like this.
So we do. And I'll suppose I'll run into you later today as well.
Well, he goes to run a hand through his hair and he says, "It was lovely talking to you, but I still very much need my coffee.
Oh, of course.
But I will see you later."
Have a good morning.
And you part ways. And you are a free man. Well, free changeling.
Whoa.
Woo!
Yeah.
I hope you liked that a lot.
Yes, it was very cute.
Nice. I'm gonna pause really quick again. Okay, what would you like to do with the rest of your morning?
Honestly, finding a good spot on the campus grounds, and well, yeah, it's only like 5 in the morning at this point, so
It's crazy early.
crazy early. Dang.
Yeah.
What do I do?
Yeah, so like as some examples, you could like find somebody to like talk to. You could just say that you go and you do something idly and we can time skip to the like actual picnic and stuff like that. I can actually give you a second to think about it. Okay, and which specific thing did you want to do first?
I feel like I'll wait on the clothes and I'll look around for some herbs first, or at least to buy herbs first.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, do you want to go to the witch's clinic, or do you want to try to find Urzmektok? I think you told me that, but I'm just getting for posterity for the recording.
Yes, I think I'll try to find Urzmektok first, if just because I haven't seen him in a while, and I thought our last interaction was fun. And I feel like I might go to the witch's clinic anyway, just to kind of like cover my bases.
Yeah. Oh, I just had another idea that I think would be really cool. Because you work at the cafe, you could probably buy tea leaves from them too.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because they sell tea.
True.
I just thought about that right now. I think that's also a really compelling idea.
I think I'll wait on that because I'll
Yeah.
be there every day anyway.
Yeah, you're good to get it whenever. I just wanted to make sure that you knew about it. Okay, cool. So you want to find Urzmektok. Where do you think you're gonna look?
Pretty early in the day still, so I don't think he would be at the lab. So I think I'm gonna go hit up my angel best friend, and I'm gonna go to Witherbloom.
Yeah, you're gonna go over to Witherbloom campus. Let's go.
And I think Dove goes to Witherbloom and then immediately regrets wearing what they did.
Oh yeah, because it's very wet. So you pop over to Witherbloom campus. Let me go ahead and switch the picture really quick. And let me go ahead and put the Witherbloom music on. Because it is no longer jazzy time. You come over and you pop on into Widdershins Hall, where the teleportation room leads you to, and you are inside this sort of like carved out tree with all of the rooms and classrooms in it. Where would you like to go?
I don't happen to know where the cabins are, do I?
I don't think you do exactly, but you can definitely stop somebody and ask.
Could I actually turn to Hoshmal kind of off to the side? There's like nobody else really using the teleportation device this early, right?
Not as many people know, so I think you could talk
Okay.
to Hashmal a little bit.
Okay, yeah, Dove will definitely wait until like there are good moments.
Yeah.
And speak up and say, good morning, Hashmal.
Hello.
I had a question if that's all right.
Of course. How can I help you?
Do you happen to know where the cabins in Witherbloom are?
Yes, they're in Sedgemoor.
Oh, Sedgemoor's very big, though.
Yes, they are scattered throughout the swamp surrounding the campus, like a ring.
Well, suppose I have to start looking then. Thank you.
Of course. Have a good day.
You as well. And I think Dove will leave. And I think Dove will have to eventually stop someone if they find someone walking around and probably ask if they know what direction to go to find Urzmektoks and Dina's cabin.
Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna do a couple rolls to see, like, not like how well you do it, but to see, like, how many people you have to go through until you find somebody who knows where they live, right? Okay, let me open up my little dorm spreadsheet. It takes some asking around. You don't get the idea that a lot of people know, like, where Dina stays or where Urzmektok stays. You don't get the idea that a lot of people, like, know them particularly well, right? Even on a specific campus. But eventually you kind of get somebody whenever you're asking, you're like, oh, do you know where, like, Urzmektok's cabin is, where Dina's cabin? And they're just like, Dina, you mean like Mel's roommate? The one that does
I
like the
only.
tutoring and stuff?
Oh, yes, her.
Yeah, yeah, Mel's cabin is uh cabin 232, so that's kinda, and you see they kinda like squint and look around, and then they kind of point in a general direction, and they say like that way?
Okay.
Thereabouts.
I'll go take a look in that direction. Thank you.
Yeah, good luck.
Thank you.
Everybody, every time they hear that you're going to go see Dina, everybody, poor fucking soul. Yeah, so you go to start looking around, and thankfully with the cabins, so this is something that I haven't really talked about because you guys haven't gone to any cabins yet, is that through Sedgemoor specifically and through the Witherbloom campus, there are like these wooden walkways to make it so you don't always have to trudge through the water and the mud. And those actually do lead to cabins. So a lot of times cabins will kind of be on their own little island, um, and you'll like walk up a walkway to them, and then you can walk on solid ground. And as you sort of look around for like a minute, it takes a minute to get there. Sedgemoor in particular is really unyielding. Um, you find a cabin, and I'm gonna show you a picture of this cabin. As you walk up to it, and you notice that it is open air. There are no doors. There's just like these sort of open doorways. Oh, I don't have a screenshot. I have to open them. Give me 1 second. But how do you approach this cabin? Okay, I'm gonna get you a little screenshot.
Looking around, is there anyone that's like outside of it, or like does there look to be movement inside of the cabin?
Roll me a perception.
Sure.
And there it is.
Yes, I remember seeing this. 19.
19? Okay, awesome. Let me do some rolls really quick. I am going to say that you see not in the walkway up as you walk towards it. You don't see any movement inside, but you do kind of start to hear these sort of like quiet voices, two of them. And they seem to be coming from either the back corner or like the back. You can't see them through the open doors though.
Okay. I think Dove will approach the cabin, and going towards where the voices are, not really knowing if people will be asleep at this point because it is a free day, kind of call out as softly as they can.
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
You immediately hear the voices kind of stop, and that's a little bit worrying for like a second until you see what looks to be what you might assume is a dryad from what you've heard about dryads so far. And I will show you what he looks like really quick. I can find him. Here we go. Okay. You see this creature sort of peek around the cabin, and you hear in sort of this like kind of deep but quiet voice, "Friend or foe?"
Oh, friend.
You see that he sort of blinks at you. and then gives like a shrug, and he says, "Yeah, okay." Uh, and
Friend
then
of Dina and Erzmuk talk?
as soon as you say that, you see another head pop out from from around the cabin, and you see Dina's head of like leaves and green skin, and she blinks at you with her bright orange eyes, and she's like, "Oh, it's you." Just as the other dryad was about to like answer like a yeah, so she like cuts him off. Um, and Dina comes around and sort of points at you and say, "I didn't know you knew where I lived."
Well, I knew that you shared a cabin with Erzmuk talk, and I didn't know which cabin was yours. I had to ask before I came here just now.
You see they both kind of nod as the other dryad comes out from behind the cabin and says, "That makes sense."
Um, Good morning, though. And Delv will kind of turn towards the other dryad and kind of nod their head a little bit and say, I'm sorry, though, I didn't mean to interrupt any conversation. I know it's quite early in the morning. Um, my name is Dove, though.
He goes to nod and sort of look you over. And give me 1 second. I'm gonna check something really quick. He kind of goes up to you to walk up next to you, or in front of you, and you kind of realize as he gets closer that he is massive. He is looming over you with his stature, and you can really see the way that his form looks entirely crafted from wood, as opposed to Dina, who looks, mostly like flesh, but then with like leaves and stuff. But he looks like he's made from gnarled wood. Um, and you can see the way that like the holes in his body sort of glow. Um, and he goes to give a nod of the head, and then he seems almost to look surprised for a second, and then he goes to like belatedly hold out a hand and say, "It's nice to meet you, Dove. I am Melwithorn. I also live here."
Oh, yes, when I was asking around for, and Dove will obviously go to shake the hand with a smile.
Yeah.
Um, Dove will speak up and say, when I was actually asking around for what cabin Dina and Erzmuk talk lived in, uh, someone recognized it only because you lived here, so I suppose it's fitting that I meet you as well.
You hear him give sort of a chuckle, and it makes like his face kind of pull up a little bit in a smile, and say, "That doesn't surprise me. I know a good deal bit more people than Dina does." What
Mm. Oh,
brings
go
you
ahead.
here? Do you want tea? Some leaves? I am unfamiliar with host etiquette.
Please don't worry yourself over it at all. I was actually curious, if Erzmuk talk was here.
Uh, you actually see them both kind of look to each other, and then they kind of like both point to the cabin, and they say, "Both of our other roommates are still sleeping."
Ah, um, hmm. Well, I wouldn't want to bother him or wake him from his slumber on a free day. Uh, I was just curious to know if he would be willing to trade some herbs with me.
Oh, you want
I was
herbs? Dina perks up.
Well, I was hoping to purchase some before our tutor session. Uh, I've I've really been wanting to make tea since I came here, and I haven't had the opportunity or the herbs to do so.
you see that they both kind of look at each other and then they look at you, almost in like a way that like it's very interesting seeing two dryads stand next to each other because you realize with Dina's like weird, but seeing two dryads next to each other, you realize that you really can't read either of their body language, and it almost seems that they are having a much easier time communicating with each other than like they are with you. Um,
Hmm.
so they have this sort of like moment where they both like seem to come to the same conclusion. Um, and Dina says, "We can find you something."
Oh, I wouldn't want to trouble either of you at all. It's really all right.
No, 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 no. And like Dina like starts waving a hand and like kind of like goes to like go into the cabin through one of the open doors. And you can't really hear any rustling around, but you assume that's because Dina is being particularly quiet. And you're kind of just left with Melwithorn hanging out.
Double turn to Melwithorn and say, may I ask how is it that you know so many more people? You're very easily recognized.
Oh, yes. I've been told I stand out quite a bit. Um, I play on the Silk Ball team, and that makes me meet a lot more people. But also, um, I go out of my way to know more people. He looks like over at you, and he looks like a little sad. And he says, "I've never left my grove until I came here. Uh, the Dryads are very community-oriented people, so I try to know many people."
Oh, I'm I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to bring up anything like that.
No, it's okay. It's a comfort to know that people know of me and think of me when I am not around.
Um, do you happen to know River?
You see, the talk. You see this. He almost seems to like perk up a little bit. Not very much. He's very like calm and slow, vibe to him. But he goes to give a smile and he says, "Oh yes, our new calling them a recruit when they volunteered is incorrect. But yes, they're the new player on our team."
Yes, they they're always so excited to talk about Silk Ball.
They seem to have a lot of fun with it. The team is really close, and um, it's a good way to make friends. So I'm glad to know that they're having fun. Uh, I enjoy spending time with them, and Javanish speaks really highly of them.
Well, they're a wonderful friend, and I'm sure you are one too.
Thank you. I. It makes me happy to hear that. You see, after a second of, after a couple minutes of waiting, you see him actually go to bring up sort of like a gnarled wooden hand up to some of the pouches on his belt, like he's looking for something, and he says, and you see that he actually gets up and starts looking for stuff for you too, as he sort of like wades into some of the shallow water around the island. Uh, and you're left alone for like a second unless you say something, but both of them come back with like lots of greenery and like leaves and like roots and seeds to like kind of hoist onto you.
Dove will just beam and take it all, and I I don't know. I guess for ease of access, because I don't want to say that Dove just walks around with an armful of this shit. I guess like Dove will put it away
Yeah,
into
so
like a
fair.
pouch or something. But Dove will just smile at both of them in turn and say, what would you like for it? I couldn't possibly accept this without giving something in return.
So I really like this question because I feel like Melwithorn goes to raise a hand and say like that he doesn't need anything, and then Dina's first response is, "What do you got?"
Let's see. Um I have coin. I could pay for it that traditional way. Um What else? Uh, what are things that you might be interested in, Dina? Unless, of course, you would just like money for it. I could do that.
This is a fun question. Give me a second to think on it. I hope you like Melwithorn. I think he's cute.
I do. Has anyone else talked to him?
Yes, actually. This is a character people know.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. Okay, so give me, what did you say were the options that you gave, and then you also asked if Dina was interested in anything in particular?
I kind of just gave money as an option, and
Okay.
then I kind of looked through my stuff for a little bit, and then Dove like asked what she was interested in, if not money.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So, I think that Dina would actually probably say no to money, but in regards to asking like what she is interested in, I think that she would. I think that she would just say that she likes weird stuff and also plants. But if you asked them for plants, then obviously you don't have any plants.
Let me think.
You could owe me a favor.
mm. What's your favorite beverage, Dina?
Water.
Oh, that's not very fun. I can't do much fun with that.
I'm a plant.
Well, I didn't know if you had tried other things aside from water
Well,
and decided you liked those more.
well, I mean, flavored water is good. The kind with the bubbles. And she makes like a gesticulation with her hand of like bubbles popping.
Um, no, it's nothing. I don't think I should be trading you that anyway. I could owe you a favor if that's all right by you.
No, that's totally fine. I can cash it in when I need it. She just smiles at you.
Oh, I suppose since I know 3 of the people living here, who is the 4th person?
You don't know him?
I don't think so.
She looks like she doesn't believe you.
Well, I only know that you, now Mel, and Erzmuttok live here, but I don't know who the 4th person is.
I'm gonna give you a very quick aside. Melithorn looks very pleased that you called him Mel.
Oh. And I think Dove will like kind of catch that and be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Melwithorn."
No, it's fine. But he looks very pleased to be like, it's fine.
You prefer Mel?
I enjoy the nicknames.
Okay, then Mel it is.
Thanks, I like him. I think he's Mel A. Oh, am I gonna do this? Hold on.
Oh my god, is that white thing?
I think Tina's just gonna go get their 4th roommate. And you see Tina go in their cabin, and you hear like a disgruntled noise for a second, and you hear Dina say, "Vicus, get up, Dove's here."
Oh god. Oh shit. I'm gonna die. Dove standing there.
Dove is T-posing like, "Oh god. On God?" I like the idea that you hear Dina, like, try to convince Vicus to get up, and she's like, "Wake up. Hey, get up. You have a
Dina,
guest, get up."
Dina, you don't have to do that.
I also like imagining that as you say that, you hear Vikes' voice very gravelly from sleep and also annoyed, and it's just like, "Tell him to fuck off."
Dove.
Dina
Well,
comes out and is like, "He is not taking guests at this time."
I wasn't aware that you had both shared a cabin. I knew that you were both Witherbloom students, but
Yeah, that's how we're friends.
I didn't know that. So what kind of roommate is he then?
You
He seems like
see.
a grumpy one.
Oh, actually, let me check the. I have to check my little relationship chart really quick. Okay, come here. Okay, come here. You see two very interesting reactions happen when you ask that, because you see Dina go to shrug and just be like, "He's all right," and then you see Melwithorn very casually and very minutely make a face.
I think Dove catches that.
I
It
think
kind
so.
of like smiles at Mel.
You see him go to like meet your eye, and it just exacerbates. And I feel like you both have fucking an understanding. You know?
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you both for everything. It it wasn't exactly what I had in mind, but it was lovely to see you both regardless.
Uh, you see that they both smile, and they. I think Dina says, "Yeah, of course," and Mel goes to be like, "Of course, you can visit at any time."
I'll have to visit you when it's much later in the day. Um, and I think with that, double leave. I don't think I'm gonna spend the time going to Dems also because it's been a little bit. Um, and I can ask about uh, are they specific herbs? Are they just like herbs that I put in my inventory?
They are some plants.
Some plants. Okay, I'll just put that in there probably later.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I could. It's been a little bit since the session started, so I could like try to look for an outfit, or I could just skip that. It's up to you.
If you want to look for an outfit, you can. You can like go to like Prismari and like look at Art House and see if there's any outfits that you could like buy and stuff like that. That would kind of be your best bet if you wanted to get something um that you wouldn't have to wait for somebody to make. You also could go to the Biblioplex store and like buy some clothes, but those are like the equivalent of if you got like a college hoodie, you know? So it's like up to if
Yeah.
you wanted something nicer or if you just wanted more clothes.
I think I'll just say that Dove pops over to Prismari after that, and we'll go to the art house and try looking around for a good date outfit.
Yeah. Okay, Cool. I'm gonna roll some rolls and see if I can find anything, if you can find anything like cute that you would like and like what price it would be. Because that doesn't have to be a whole RP because you're just gonna be buying it off the rack essentially.
That cabin interaction is very cute though, and I did not expect that they shared a cabin, but I guess I also kind of did. And so whenever you started being like, I think you know, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I liked hearing the fear in your voice the minute she went into the cabin and you're like, oh god, I'm gonna die. I hope you liked getting to hear about them, and I hope you liked getting to basically fill out finger quotes a cabin.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I now have a question for you. What kind of nice outfit are you looking for? Because I feel like it's more easy to find like I feel like you can find a lot of like really avant-garde high fashion stuff here. You also can find like some I say generically pretty, but I don't mean like bland. I just mean like some like, you know, like cocktail dresses, like skirts and stuff like that. So like I would like your input on like what kind of thing you're looking for, and I can basically give you a price point from there.
I think the idea of doing something like avant-garde is like tempting.
Yeah.
But also we're having a date in a tavern.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's
It's
so fair.
like, I think if I do that, it's just almost kind of laughable at how much I would be overdressed. So I think while keeping that in mind, I was looking for something like nice, you know, handsome or pretty, but like more than their casual clothes, but not as much as like their prince outfit, you know what I mean? Like it's somewhere in between. It's like
I think that's fair,
nice for a date. Yeah, you know?
but that's a pretty big like spectrum, which is why I was asking.
Yeah.
So like are you shooting for something that looks like a cocktail dress or maybe something more casual than that? It doesn't have to be a dress specifically, but like that idea, you know what I mean?
Yeah, let me see.
Like are you shooting for something you would wear to a dinner party or just something that you think would look fashionable on you? Cuz I would like to know what Dove would consider to be date attire because people could dress all different levels, you know.
I know, I know.
I'm sorry. I'm going to pause while you think about it cuz I want to eat some rice. Okay. So you go in and you look around and you basically find 3 outfits that you think can fit for this occasion. And you find one piece that is sort of like a simple but elegant sort of like cocktail dress sort of situation with like this sort of like high collar. Not like the Edwardian fucked up ones, you know what I mean, but like one that goes like up on the neck a little bit, no sleeves, and sort of has this like very traditional like cocktail like tea length skirt, right? And it's pretty, but it's pretty simple. So that price point is only 1 gold if you want to buy that. Um, you also can get a really this sort of really pretty and a bit more brightly colored matching suit set. And it's not like a suit, like a tux, but it's sort of like a situation of like nice dress pants and then like a sort of like matching jacket. You know what I mean? With some like frills on the sleeves and the lapels of that. And you can get that for 4 gold if you want it. And you can decide the details of these later. This is just like the prices indicative of the level of detail in them. Okay, so you spend the 4 gold and you get yourself that colorful, frilly sort of pantsuit situation. And it looks good on you. I think it would look really, really good on Dove. I think it has that sort of Dove has that sort of like fancy vibe that I feel like fine clothes, even that are more casual, look really good on Dove. I feel like Dove looks really good in like elegant clothes. I think it capitalizes on that.
Okay, and that's all I wanted to do there, so I'm gonna have Deb start getting the picnic ready.
Okay, awesome. Let me go ahead and put back on the Biblioplex thing, and I'll change the music again. Okay. So you head back over to the Biblioplex, and you start setting up for your picnic. It's pretty easy to sort of get your food situated. You go back over to the fire jolt, and Mina and Alina have sort of your stuff put together in this little basket to the side so you can pick it up. And they threw in like I want to say like a tablecloth that people can like sit on. It's not as nice as like a blanket, but it is like nice in case people don't want to sit on the grass.
Yeah.
And Mina gives you a wink when she hands it off. And you can find probably a really nice big like patch of grass to sit on to get everything situated if you'd like.
Yes.
Yes. You get over there and you get things situated, and you sort of like put things in positions so it's really easy for people to like get a hold of certain foods or drinks. You have like almost like a pitcher of like lemonade and like some tea and stuff like that so that people can like pour their own drinks, because it's a bit easier to plan on what drinks people want versus what foods people want.
Yeah.
And I think by the time you finish it, I think that it looks really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I imagine it looks very cute as well.
I think so as well. Do you think that you would have told people like when and where so people could show up, or did you want to like collect people from like the dorms or something? What do you think was the setup for that?
I think Dove knew that it was going to be in like the central campus anyway.
Yeah.
So I think like Dove like would have just told people like generally, noon on the central campus, like it'll be set up like a picnic, because it's not just the first years that like Dove would have to go collect. It's also like
Yeah.
a few other like people like, well, I guess it's just well, no, because there's Witherbloom and Prismari, so yeah, it would
Yeah.
have to be like going all over. So yeah,
Well,
I
I
think
wouldn't-
it's just easier to.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I wasn't gonna make you have to like try to find anybody. I was just gonna be like, what do you think you want to do, and I would just let it happen.
No, I'm just explaining, like, I know you weren't going to make me, but like in
Okay.
character.
Yeah.
I think Dove just said we're gonna meet up.
Okay, that's completely fair. Then at that point, I think that while you're getting ready, people probably like started like arriving. I feel like because of like the general nature, and also like picnics are kind of like a chill affair anyway. I feel like it's kind of like a trickle in of like people showing up. So I think people who were like the earliest were probably people like, let me look at your list. There we go. So probably people like Nora and people like Xanther. I think Mina and Alina would show up. I think that, and I also think that the majority of the first years would like show up early. And I also think that Will would show up early. And then everybody else sort of like trickles in.
Yeah.
Yeah. As for people who are like a little bit late, I think that like people like River, like Ashawn, I think also like Rowan and like Plink and Alvernine come in like a little late because they're not quite as like jumping at the bit to be like super early. But everybody comes up and like greets you and is like excited, and like I think a majority of the people are like impressed by like the spread, because like this is a big thing. Yeah.
And I think
I was just gonna say, so I hold up the mic. You're the host.
yeah. I think Dub will thank everyone for coming, like as they're like showing up,
Mhm.
like thanking them individually, like telling them like what's there, they can hang out on the grass, on the blanket, they can stay for just the food, they can like mill about. It's really up to them.
Mhm. Mhm.
Uh, Dove really doesn't mind. Um, yeah, and I think I want Dove to say something before I start like chatting with people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I don't think I want it to be like a big announcement feeling
Mhm.
thing, but I think I just want Dove to say like, uh, I know that I am alone in celebrating this holiday, but I really do appreciate everyone coming to this anyway, for each their own reason, of course. But I hope that with the start of a new year and with all of us coming from such different places now, that in the celebration of community, we not only celebrate those that we have already, but we celebrate new community and what can be, and to new friends, and to a new year.
Love, I love you.
Please enjoy the food. That's all I had to say.
uh, so I know you said that it like you wouldn't make it like an announcement thing, but I think that that sounds really cute as like a toast.
Yeah, I was
Maybe
actually
everybody
thinking about that
toasting.
earlier. I think I do want Dove to have like a little glass that they hold up at the end of it.
Yeah, I think that that's really cute, and I think that people would toast, and like people would kind of like come over and like lean over to like clink glasses with you. And I think something that I think is very cute about this sort of situation is that this is like, it's like a toast. It's not like grace, but I think what's really cute about the fact that this is like a holiday for you, and you were talking about it, and what like it means, and how you're about, and like you want to have fun with like all of these people. I like the idea that like some people like took it to heart and even did like a sign or their own little prayer to themselves. And I think that that
Oh.
is something that I think is very beautiful. The idea that, like, yeah, this is only your holiday, but everybody has holidays that are like this where you care about, like, your friends and your family. And I think that's really cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really cute.
And I think Dove will, after that, mill about, checking up on everybody, getting some food, get some drinks for themselves also.
Yeah. I
Uh,
really like the idea. Sorry, I'll let you go in a second. I like the idea that this is kind of a mix between a picnic and a cookout. So like people are like walking around and talking. They're hanging out. They're moving seats. They're getting up, getting food, getting drinks. I think it's very cute air.
yeah.
I like it.
And I want to find Rowan.
You want to find Rowan. Rowan's hanging out with her besties, Plink and Auvernine, and uh, also occasionally talking to Will. But Will doesn't seem to be sticking to her, and you don't know if it's because like he's also mingling, or if he's like just not wanting to hang out with her the whole time, or if it's like the friend situation. You don't really know what's going on with that. But she's hanging out with her besties.
Yeah, do you think they're just like sitting on like the blanket, the three of them?
I think that they are sitting on maybe the grass.
Yeah. I think Dove will kind of walk over with a drink and like a little plate of food or something and
Yeah.
smile at all three of them and go ahead.
Oh no, I just said yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, and Dove will kind of walk over and go to take a seat next to them and just say, "How's it going, you three?"
I like the idea that Rowan sees you and is like, there they are, the man of the hour.
I don't know if I would call it that. It's just a simple gathering, is all.
Yeah, but it's yours.
I suppose that's true.
And you see that they all sort of go to invite you, and they're like, come sit, come sit. And I feel like maybe like Plink makes like a comment that's just like, we meet again, the squad.
A girls' night, perhaps? Well, it's the middle of the day, but I think it could be one spirit.
It's okay, girls brunch.
Girls' brunch. There we go.
I think that Rowan, I think that they all sort of chit chat with you. I think that Auvernine in particular says, this is really nice. It must have been a bit of work to put all together.
It actually worked out quite nice. Today was my first day at the Fire Jolt Cafe, so I actually made the food while I was training this morning.
Wow, that's really cool, actually. Wait, did you get it? it was this free?
Was it free? It was free,
It was
right?
free.
Devil nod and say it was. Lena was very kind.
I like the idea that the besties all kind of share a look, and Plink was like, maybe I need to apply at the cafe.
A word of advice if you do. She's very eccentric, and she runs it like she's a military leader. Just so you're aware.
I like the idea that they're all that really cracks them up. And Rowan in particular is just like, I mean, there are worse things than having a place run like a tight ship, but that's a little
No,
funny.
no, don't get me wrong. She's a wonderful person from everything I've known of her so far. It's just something to be aware of.
I appreciate the warning.
And apparently they have steam methods that are drawn to the coffee machine.
Really?
Yes.
Do they live in there?
No, they don't live in there. They're just drawn to the heat and
Oh,
moisture.
so like a pest. That makes more sense. Well, not like a pest, like the Witherbloom pest. I mean, like a pest, like how rats get in pantries. I feel like I have to. Rowan says, I feel like I have to like elaborate on that now.
Dove reaches out, just places a hand on her, and is like, I understood what you meant. It's all right.
Okay.
But, I mean, how has the first week been for all of you? I know you're not first years or anything, but still.
Yeah. Well, you know, halfway through opening assignments, not too difficult, not too bad. And then like Rowan gestures to like her and Auvergnine and says, "We've been through it before, but this is this one's first time doing it." And Plink like raises a hand and says, "It's really not that bad. They give you a lot of freedom in what you're doing."
That must be nice. We just finished the mana course.
Oh yeah, so you're gonna learn about like the colleges now, right?
I believe so, yes.
That's fun.
No biases or anything at all, I assume.
No, of course not. Bias is unheard of here at Strixhaven University. There's no such thing as bias. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh no.
Not
How would
at
there
all.
ever be
Not at all.
bias?
Ooh, I wonder who's running it this year.
Running what?
Oh, you know, the classes and stuff.
Oh, for the college campuses?
Yeah,
Or...
like the college classes. And she does like finger quotes. Oh, hold on. I have to fact check something in the RP super quick. I'm sorry. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, yeah, okay, cool. I was correct. You see that Auvergnine kind of lean forward and say, oh, Nim might be teaching the Witherbloom one again this year.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure my friend will be very pleased to hear about that.
she goes to like wave a hand with like a smile and say, I'm not too familiar with like other teachers' aides, obviously, but you know, just a heads up in case you care. And Plink kind of like snorts and say, we know you care, Alvernine, we know.
You know, I'm surprised you haven't seen if the Witches Clinic is hiring.
They do sometimes, but you have to be like a medical student already.
Well, it's never too late to change professions.
Don't tempt me. My last year, and you're gonna make me stray and stay here for another 4 years. Whatever will I do? You see that she kind of like lays dramatically against you.
Dev laughs and is like, well, I mean, Nem's doing the same, aren't they?
That's true. Oh, that is true. I forget that I can just decide to work here.
You know, I did, this makes me remember our conversation last time. So, obviously, I've met Valentine now, with the Black Mana courses. That one was very frustrating.
What do you mean? Plink is the one who leans forward and says that.
Well, no, I should be more clear. The Blue Mana course was in the class itself the most frustrating one.
Oh, they all like groan really loudly.
But both of they were just so standoffish, and I did well on my paper, but now I don't know if that's a good thing because Ambrose took an interest in me.
They all like make a face at you and they like lean forward and they're like spill the beans. What? Ambrose Lou?
I don't even know what to call it exactly because it was something like a compliment, I assume, but it was also almost like a threat in a way. But I apparently did well in the paper that I turned in, and they made sure that if it did not meet their expectations, they would let you know. I'm sure you all know. You went through it. But let me pull it up again because I have it.
Yeah, I think that while you guys are chit-chatting about this, I think Plink like speaks up and is like, I don't think Valentine is like that standoffish. I think he's nice enough.
He did seem much kinder than Dean Lou. That is true.
She goes to nod and say, a lot of people don't like his methods, but I think he cares. He cares more than some of the other deans.
Yes.
And then Alvernine kind of just shivers and says, but he's creepy.
That's not very kind to say. But essentially he said that he would have written it differently, of course, but there was a very good basis to it. And then he told me not to take compliments from him lightly, and that he would keep an ear out for my name.
They all sort of like make like this face that's like,
So, yes.
Well, you see, Planko speak up and says, well, see, you can't let Silverquill have you because now, you're friends with us, which means you're coming to Witherbloom next year, obviously.
What about Rowan?
She's an outlier. She's barely Prismari. And then
That
Rowan
is
is just
true.
like, that's fair.
That you told me so yourself.
Fair enough.
I haven't decided on my campus yet. I'm not sure how I feel about the bog, ladies.
No, but you get used to it, I promise.
Do you? Because I have to constantly prestidigitate myself.
Well, that's why you get waiters. See, your issue is that you're just walking in your normal clothes, but you have to like get waiters and like gloves and like generally if you get like a Witherbloom uniform, it's more sturdy anyway. And then Auvergne is also like nodding from the corner, and it's true. It's a lot easier once you start getting like waterproof things.
That's fair, I suppose, but there's all those bugs.
Yeah, they're important to the ecosystem.
But they're everywhere.
Yeah, because they're important to the ecosystem. Come on, you'll love it. Come sleep in a cabin for a week and you'll get real used to it.
I don't even know what I would study there, aside from alchemy.
You would study, and then you see that Plink goes to like check something in her uniform, pull out a paper. You can study being my friend.
Are we not already friends?
Yes, but you'd be even more my friend if you were in Witherbloom.
Are you peer pressuring me?
Yes. Then she like grins and you can see her like fangs.
Wait, who's the one that said that?
This is Plink.
Plink is Yuan-Ti, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, so you also, sorry, off topic. You remember in our previous conversation about how we were talking about vampires and the Union and Valentine and Vicus and Felisa?
Yes, I could talk for hours about vampires. What's up?
I've met all 3 of them now.
Yeah, you told me that you met Valentine and then she like paused for a second. She's like, you met Vicus.
All 3 of them.
At the same time?
No. Well, Felisa I met shortly after meeting Vicus, actually.
Fair. Felisa's like around.
I saw that Dina was sitting alone at a table with drinks, and I wanted to go up and introduce myself to her because I heard Motiva talking about her.
As you're talking, you can see Plink go to make a face as you continue talking. Keep going, I'm sorry.
I didn't realize that she was on a date with Vicus, and he walked up behind me.
No! Are you okay? Are you missing
any
of your body parts?
No, it was fine. I had it under control. We're fine now. It's fine. But I have a date with Felisa tonight.
Plink screams and starts shaking you.
Just to get to know her better, of course, but it was called a date.
Yeah, get to know her. I know it. I understand.
You have to get out there and make the moves. I don't know what to tell you.
She collapses on the grass. I respect you. Powerful. A week? And Miss Felisa Fang. You see that Plink starts yelling, but then gets quieter. It's like, Miss Felisa Fang. Man.
She tried to charm me and it didn't work.
Oh, why'd you fight it?
I didn't know what it was.
Oh, fair. You are new. That's understandable.
How is Rowan looking?
Rowan, I think Rowan is just kind of like smirking at like watching like you guys both like do this back and forth. And I feel like as you gotta look over at Rowan, she kind of gives a bit of a laugh as you meet as you meet her eyes, and she says, "Real lady killer, huh?" already taken names.
By the end of the year, I'll have every name down.
That's the way to do it.
Thank you. I don't know though, Rowan. You kind of No, they wouldn't say that. Dev would be like, I don't know though. Rowan, you strike me as the type that also would get around. Am I wrong?
I love the idea that as you say that, I see what's my favorite part about you talking to them as a trio is that besties always give each other away. So I like the idea that you say that, and then both Plink and Auvergne kind of like smirk over at Rowan, and Rowan is just like, no, I mean I do all right, but she looks like she's like got a shit-eating grin, and she takes like a sip. I do all right.
Yeah. They glance to the side and then they glance back at her and they're like, you're a terrible liar.
I
Terrible.
never said I was good at it. It's called being humble.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
She gives a sort of like crass laugh and like I keep imagining that you're like across from Rowan and like the friends are flanking both of you because that's how it was at the table. I don't know if that's exactly how it is, but I just like the idea that she would like knock her knee against yours or like somehow initiate contact because that was funny.
Yeah.
Give me just 1 second. All right, we're back.
Oh, I finally had the chance to talk to Will the other day.
Oh, did you?
I haven't actually spoken to him since we first met you.
Yeah, he's been really gunning to try to get a chance to talk to you guys.
That's very sweet of him. Yes, we spoke with him in the Biblioplex.
Did he give
kind of
you...
thing.
Oh, sorry,
Go
go
ahead.
No, you first.
No.
Oh, okay. Rowan's just gonna be like, oh, did he give you the whole, like, mentor spiel? Like, come to me if you ever need anything.
Yes.
All that. It's cute.
He's very sweet.
He's a dweeb.
You love him.
I do.
And we told him that, by the way. We say that you talk all kinds of good things about him.
Come on, you can't let him know that I, like, talk him up or he's gonna get a big head. I have to keep him humble.
Now, Rowan, from his reaction, I think that you don't show sibling love enough, and I think you should be nice to your twin brother.
You see that she goes to kind of laugh, and she has kind of like a smile, and she kind of looks away, and she's like, yeah, well, I mean...
I know it's embarrassing though, so don't push yourself.
I'm nice to him. It's just not my fault we don't always see eye to eye on stuff.
Sorry, this is me thinking.
No, you're A-okay.
No, I suppose that is fair. I mean, you're twins that share a room. You're constantly together. Even before you came here, fighting is normal.
Yeah, you're right. It's... She goes to, like, wave a hand, and say, I mean, it, like, that's making it sound like it's, like, bad. We get into, like, scuffles. It's not a big deal.
Of course. Is he nice to you, though?
I think that he thinks he is being nice.
Rowan, do I need to have a conversation with him? Because I will.
No, it's
I could go over to him right now and tell him to
No,
be nice
no.
to you.
Don't. You should not start a scene between us in a public area. But it's... I don't know. We just see... We have different goals in life and what we do. And I think that he thinks he knows what's best. And I mean, to be fair, everyone would say that he's the smarter twin and he's the more calm one. He knows like how to do things more, and I feel like people would say that, so I can't complain too much. But we just have our differences, is all.
Well, that doesn't mean you're stupid or anything of the like. I've seen you. You have your own strengths, Rowan.
Yeah, because I'm the strong one. And she puts like the finger quotes.
I don't think that's being very fair to yourself, honestly. Come on, tell me some of your hobbies. What do you like to do?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, fight? She takes an awkward sip of her drink, and Plink is just over here like, and everyone's just like, and what?
And?
I don't know what you mean. I am the pinnacle of a good and proper knight. And Alvernine leans over and whispers, she likes to get in trouble. Don't listen to her.
I could gather. I don't know, Rowan. I think you have your own strengths, even though you may not know it, and that doesn't make you a lesser twin or anything.
Nah. I mean, I know I'm cool.
But do you?
She just like kind of like squints her eyes over across
Because
the
you have to know
grass.
that with your whole chest. You have to say to yourself that I'm Rowan and I'm the cool twin, and you have to actually think that and not try to fool people with that, Rowan.
I think if you wanted to be my therapist, you should have brought alcohol to this brunch. And then she drinks some of her drink.
I'm sorry, I'm being nosy, I know, but Yes, I know it's only been 9 days, but I mean, I care about you, and well, I can see that. I just want you to know that you're better than you think you are, that's all.
Yeah, okay. And you
I
feel
don't
like
mean
Rowan is
anything
like,
by it.
huh, what's up?
And Dev just says, like, I didn't mean anything by it, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. You see, Rowan kind of like accepts it, but you know, in like the way that it's just like begrudgingly. But I want you to roll me a perception really quick.
Dirty 20.
You see that next to you, Avernine is kind of giving you a little look over, and she's got a bit of a smile on her face when you say that.
So I'm just gonna lean over and go like, what is it? What? Why are you
Oh,
smiling?
nothing. You're having fun. That's fine. And her smile just gets bigger.
What do you know that I don't?
She leans in really close, like she's gonna whisper in your ear.
Uh-huh.
And she's gonna say, oh, I love playing like embarrassing besties. I think it's so fun. I think she's gonna just kind of like whisper in your ear, and you can hear the smile in her voice, and she's gonna say, I think you're laying it on a bit thick, but I think you have a shot.
I think Dev is just gonna nudge her and be like, stop. It's not. Oh, but Rowan, I actually had a question for you.
Yeah.
So the fight, the first day of school,
Yeah.
believe it was.
She like really casually like looks around as she asks like yeah, and like not like she's like you just think
Dev
she's scoping
also,
out, you know.
yeah. Dev is also like, you know.
Mm-mm.
Do you know why that happened?
The fight.
Because there seems to be some drama surrounding Dina. And
You see as you're talking, Rowan looks like interested because it's like yes, juicy drama. And but because you're flanked by two Witherblooms, I think they lean forward and start like stage whispering amongst like the four of you and is like, is it over Dina?
I think it's over Dina.
Because we know, because Vicus gets like that. And
Got like that with me. He thought I was intruding upon his date and he was about to beat me up.
oh my god, Dina's in a love triangle. She knows like 3 people. And 2 of them are fighting
Nice.
over her. Plink just like leans back, like hands on her head, and it's just like everyone here is having romantic entanglements randomly. Me? Nothing.
Go talk to other people at this party instead of having a girls' brunch and maybe you would have a shot.
Hey. I can't abandon the besties.
Yes, you can.
Anyways, did they tell you about it? Or are
Oh.
you just thinking it?
Refresh my memory because I think Motiva checked at that fight and I think Motiva said that it was over Dina.
I don't know if anybody checked.
I thought Motiva talked with other people at that fight, but maybe not.
I don't remember.
Okay.
If you
I'm
want, you can
not-
ask Ash really quick.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
I'm not entirely certain. I mean, I don't know Killian. We tried talking to him, and it did not go over well. I'm
Yeah.
honestly
yeah.
surprised that him and Dina are friends, but
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
But
Like it's
how
like
do they know each other?
nobody knows. But like it's like the weirdest match ever. Like I'm not saying like Dina is like bad to hang out with. She's just like a little weird, right? So like it's like the weird girl that doesn't like to talk to anybody and like only the most prestigious student in the most prestigious college that's, you know, the son of a dean. It just there's something going on here. I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
Interesting. Well, I thought maybe that you might know the answer, but I suppose this is news to all of us.
No, sorry. I don't really talk to Silver Quills, Plink says. And like, Dina doesn't really talk about herself. Like I said, she really goes out of her way not to really interact with people, so she like only talks to like faculty.
Oh, Rowan, you're across from and they kind of point over to where like Quintilius and maybe like Xanther are, and they're like, you're across from their room, aren't you?
I believe so. Let me check really quick. Yes.
What's...
Yeah, why?
I just thought that was interesting. I've been over to their room a few times, but I didn't know you were so close.
Oh, yeah. I'm not really at my room much, and then Will doesn't leave it much, so.
Not at your room much, huh?
I just like to do things with my school life.
with other
I
ladies,
I
with other
have
students.
I have a booming social life here at school.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one making it horny, not me.
Dove looks at the other two, like
uh,
raises her eyebrow.
I think that Avranine kind of like hides a laugh behind her hand and spends more time at the tavern more nights than not. Rowan's like, hey, and like kicks her knee a little bit. Hey. I enjoy a good party and good company. And that is my right. I
You're
don't have
allowed
any
that.
I don't have any names to uphold here.
Oh, but I thought you were the best knight in existence.
I am. I am. Knights go to bars.
Not in any fairy tale I've read.
Well, you don't see what they do in their off time.
That's fair. They don't write about that. You're correct.
It's true. They just write about the being dashing and riding on horses. No, wait, sorry, riding on unicorns and saving damsels.
Oh, Rowan, I've been waiting in a tower for so long. When will you come to rescue me?
You don't look like you're in need of saving right now. And she gives you a wink.
Okay, well, I suppose I have to go play host to my other guests, of course, but I'm glad that you all came. It makes me happy.
Yeah, it's fun. I'll never turn down a party.
You'll have to invite me to some. I really don't know where to look.
Oh, don't worry. You'll be the first person I invite.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we'll show you how much the nightlife likes to light up around here.
I can't wait to see it.
But go on,
Nick-
play host. It's your party. Go on.
And I think Dove will get up and wave to the three of them and walk off.
Yeah. I like them.
I like them too. Sorry that dragged on for a little bit.
No, it's okay.
I like them. I didn't intend to get all like personal on Rowan, but I feel like every time I talk to her, it's always around other people. So I'm like, girlfriend, I can smell your problems from a mile away. Be
No,
honest with yourself.
No, you don't. I don't have any problems at all. What are you talking about? I'm perfect and amazing and
Make
cool.
it so obvious.
I'm perfect and amazing and cool.
Anyway, who should I talk to next?
I don't know. Who do you want to talk to next?
My gosh. I'll go see Giselle.
You gonna go see Giselle?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's sitting in a cute little corner of the blanket. I think she's like kind of doing that thing where she's on the edge of like a group, but like not really talking, just kind of like basking in the vibes. It's different than like when Eden like actively like people watches. I think that she is just like in it. She's just not as talkative as the other people in the group.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to like sidle up next to her and sit down.
Yeah, I think Dove will like walk over and like announce himself by like giving her a wave and smile before like sitting down and joining her.
Yeah. I think the minute you do that, I think that her face kind of like she's like having a good time, so she's like smiling. But I think she perks up when she sees you, and she's like, "Oh, Dove."
Hi, Giselle. I'm happy that you could make it.
Of course, this is lovely. It's really nice.
Oh, I'm glad that you like it. Are you doing all right? Do you need anything?
Oh no, I have more than enough. And you see that she has like a little sandwich that she's been kind of like picking at, and she's holding like her like glass of like tea in like both hands. And she says, "Oh, come sit. I'm sure you're running all over the place."
I'm just checking on people. Really, it's all right. I like being able to hang out like this.
I think you're doing a great job. I think you're a wonderful host.
Thank you. It means a lot to me that I could celebrate something like this so far away from home.
I think holding festivals like this and holidays and spending time with people is really important. So I'm glad that you did it too.
Thank you. Do you have any holidays?
Oh, we, I, I think, I think I know of at least one. Give me 1 second.
Sorry.
No, you're a-okay. I've talked about it before. I just need to look up exactly what I decided on, because unfortunately a lot of the MTG things don't have a lot of information on the actual timeline. Okay, cool. She kind of perks up and she says, "Oh yes, our biggest holiday back home is a holiday called Harvest Tide. It's kind of similar to the feast Fulin had recently, but with a bit more flair, I suppose."
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah, we do sort of bonfires and food, dancing. We burn effigies and put lights in trees and stuff. It's a really fun time.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. If there's ever anything you'd like to try celebrating here, let me know. I'd be happy to help you get it set up.
Oh, really? That's really kind of you.
Of course, I mean, this is. Of course, it could never be the same as it was back home, but it's. Like you were saying, it's nice to have a little piece of it. And, like you said again, celebrations are important.
You see her smile kind of gets a little bit bigger, and she kind of fidgets where she holds her glass, and she says, I understand. I think that would be really nice. I told Motiva about it a little bit. Maybe we can also make a big thing about it.
Yes, of course. Is it coming up soon?
It wasn't it wasn't from what I remember. It'll be a bit hard to figure. It's based on what our seasons are based on moon cycles, so it can move around a bit, but
I see.
I'm sure we could just pick a day.
I've nods at that, and I think they'll kind of go to clap their hands together and say, well, it'll be a fun challenge to figure out then, especially here with the suns.
It's true. I one time tried to ask faculty about the seasons here, but I can't really wrap my head around it too much myself.
Yes, I'm still getting used to it. It's unfortunate that I came during the cold season. I'm really not used to it.
Are you not used to the cold?
No, actually, so I might have spoken about it before, but I've lived in the same place my whole life before coming here. I never left the city. It was a large city, so there was no reason to leave when you didn't need to. But it was in a more tropical climate, I suppose. It was much warmer there, and especially when you live in the lower wards, it got a little cramped per se.
You see that Giselle sort of nodding along with you and say, that makes sense. I'm sorry if it's been uncomfortable for you.
Oh, I mean, it's been fine. It still got cold there, of course, but snow or anything of the like, it wouldn't really make its way down like that, and it's not very common where I came from either.
That makes sense. I've never seen snow. It doesn't really form when you're so close to the water. But I'm sorry, talking about weather is really boring. We can change the subject.
Oh, you don't have to trouble yourself over it. Oh, have you been to Condrix?
No, I actually haven't walked around any of the colleges much.
I think from what I remember, they had a large body of water there.
Oh, really? I wonder if there's a beach around here.
Hold on, let me... Because I'm pretty sure... Oh, I don't know if I have it. Dang it. Is that the ocean? I know you showed a picture of it to us.
Yes.
Ocean.
Is against the coast. Quandrix specifically has a beach.
Dev will actually nod and say, that's actually the beach. That is where the ocean is.
Oh. Oh, I had no idea we were so close.
Neither did I until we went there, honestly.
It's honestly a little mind-boggling how large this place is. It's bigger than my hometown.
I know, well, it's hard to compare it to Sharn, which is very concise and vertical still, as large as it is, but the distances between campuses is even... I don't even think of it because of the teleportation, but it takes a while to get between all of the campuses.
It does. I've heard that you actually can walk between the campuses. It just takes a long time. Did you know that they used to have to commute before the teleportation circles? They're apparently very recent.
Oh, I did not hear about that.
Yes, Hashmal told me.
I thought it was very interesting that they had an angel in charge of all the teleportation like that.
I was also very surprised. Angels are very specific. Where I come from, I didn't expect them to be so docile?
No, I think that's very fair to say. I mean, I've never had the chance to see one, but they're mythical in a way, I suppose, that seeing one so casually and even seeing a demon behind a receptionist desk like that is, I mean, I've seen all sorts of things where I come from, but it always changes, I suppose.
There are many things here that have sort of put how my home sees things in a different perspective. It's strange, but I can't say I complain about it.
I would say the same. What are your thoughts on Hashmal? I know that angels play a much larger role from what I've heard of your home.
I don't mind Hashmal. I think that they're good conversation. Where I come from, angels are only associated with the church, really. Our deity of our church is an angel. So I've generally only ever heard them talked about in regards to the church, or, you know, inquisitions and like defense of cities, that sort of thing. They're usually full of conviction, which is why I meant I was surprised by Hashmal's demeanor.
Dove nods at that and says, I would be surprised as well if I was in your shoes.
I'm coming to realize just how it's hard to decide if this world is strange or if mine is the strange one.
I think it might be a mixture of both for all of us, actually.
That is true. I forget that everyone else is in a similar situation.
What did you think of all the mana classes now that we're finished with them?
It's very interesting to hear talk about magic being taught. Where I come from, you generally learn it from a mentor in, I suppose, specific styles would be the best way to talk about it. So I would say it's not as accessible. She looks like she's having a hard time like wording how to describe it, because it's always hard to describe things when you think things are normal.
Yeah.
And she goes to take a sip of her drink and says, "It's interesting to hear about the stuff that makes magic. I suppose it's considered very esoteric where I come from."
Did you ever have the chance to have a mentor?
No.
Why she sound sad when she say that?
I don't know. She just said it very simply and didn't elaborate. Do you want an insight check?
Please.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Oh man. 11.
11. You don't get the feeling that she's shutting down the conversation, but you can pick up that she is a little not as happy and chill when she said that, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
That's about what you can get with an 11.
Okay, that's fine.
Was there one of the monocolors that stood out to you the most?
Well, all of them sounded very interesting. I suppose I thought that what Valentine said about black mana was very interesting. I come from a place where there are vampires and other creatures that sort of prey on other people, but I suppose I never really thought about the idea of I come from a place where selfishness is not really thought of positively, but sometimes I feel like you do have to do things for yourself, regardless of what other people want or think. I think it would be hypocritical of me to say that I didn't agree with what he said after coming here so suddenly.
Oh, that's right. You thought that when you accepted the invitation, it might be a trick from a demon? Is that what you said?
Yes, I wasn't sure that this was a true offer, but I was willing to accept the risk in case it was true. I was interested in the idea of leaving my home.
I think Deb nods at that. And I think reaches out a hand and maybe places it on her shoulder if she's fine with that.
I think she wouldn't. I think she would kind of just look over at you, in case you were going to say anything. I'm sorry.
We don't have to keep talking about this if it's upsetting for you.
She shakes her head and says, "I'm sorry. I must be pulling the mood down on such a joyous occasion."
Oh, no, please don't say that. I came over here because I wanted to speak with you. It just makes me happy seeing people together. I really don't mind what the conversation turns to.
You see her kind of give a bit of a laugh, and she kind of has like it's not quite sheepish, but it's not quite watery. It's kind of like a sad smile, I suppose, and she says, "It's all right. I've gleaned enough from my friendships here and talking to people that a lot of the way that things are in my home is sad or depressing. So I'm aware of it."
Sorry, this is me thinking.
No, it's okay. I like Giselle.
Like her a normal amount.
I like her a normal amount.
I think Dove will kind of be quiet for a moment and speak up and say, if you came here to get away from your home, if even for a little bit, or you didn't know if the offer was genuine, how have you thought of it so far? I hope it has been welcoming at least.
It it's definitely been brighter, I think. Not just with the light, but I guess
Mhm.
the tone. I feel like there are a lot of people here who are happy, and I think that that's nice.
Could I could I let you know something as well, Giselle?
You can tell me anything.
Thank you. Um, it's obviously I can't say I'm in the same situation as you at all, but where I come from, there was a war. It it affected not only the continent that I lived on, but the whole world, really. And it was a terrible thing that lasted for 100 years and only ended about a few years ago. And we're still seeing the effects of it every every day. And coming here, there's there's no sign of that distrust or that tension or the struggles of living in a world after something like that happened. And I I would much rather take a shallow rivalry between campuses than anything like that between nations. And it's been very different, if nice in its own way, to come here and see something so different.
I think that she goes. Do you still have your hand on her?
Yes.
I think that she kind of goes to put a hand on your hand and kind of like holds it where it's on her shoulder. And I think that she looks away because I think she also looks embarrassed, but I think she nods and says, I relate. It's hard in a way to see people have something that you could never have, or that people you know could never have, but I think it's nice here, and I guess I'm glad to know that someone else can relate. I've talked to Musim about it a little bit, but it's nice to know that I'm not the only one having a hard time trusting it. No?
This is so painful for Dev, who knows the things that they know.
Haha. Whatever do you mean?
You know.
Whatever do you mean?
You know.
Bev kind of nods at that, and I I agree, and it's aside from leaving a whole world, this is the first time that I've even stepped foot outside of a city, no less, and the adjustment, as I'm sure it has been for everyone else, has been difficult, but the people here are making it better, I think.
I agree.
And I think that's why it's so important that we, as first years or planeswalkers, even get along and look out for each other.
I think she smiles at that, and then squeezes your hand, but then she lets go of your hand because she's a little embarrassed about it.
And I think Dev takes their hand off her shoulder. Have you spoken? I mean, I know that you've spoken to me and Motiva and Valen, and I'm sure the people in your own dorm room. Have you spoken to the other first years that much?
Not, not particularly. I was a bit of a homebody back home, so it's a bit hard for me to go out of my way to, talk to people, and it hasn't been that long. So I haven't really gotten a chance to really speak with anybody that's not in my dorm room. But the people in my room are also quiet types.
I think that's fair. Well, if you ever are looking for a good place to start talking amongst the other first years, the room next to ours with River and Fletcher and Chad and Neri, they're all very nice. And I'm sure they'd be very welcoming.
You see that she kind of laughs and gives a small smile, and she says, I'll try to talk to them more.
I haven't spoken to Eleni very much either, but she's the what do you call her again? Nereid?
Yes.
She's the Nereid, the watery looking one.
Oh, yes.
Yes. She's also, I haven't spoken to her very much, but she's very cheerful and happy as well, and I think she would also be lovely to talk to.
This is really cute. This is really cute.
Sean, he seems.
I'm sorry, that's funny.
The other roommate in our room, he seems a bit standoffish and he seems a bit rude. But between you and me, he's fine. He's really fine.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I don't mean to push you around like this. I just...
No, it's nice.
Oh, I got herbs today, so I could finally make some tea.
Oh, really?
Yes, I did. I have some people I know over in Witherbloom that gave it to me.
Oh, that's really sweet. You already have so many friends.
It is my favorite hobby, talking to people.
You should try seeing if you could go fishing in Quandrix. I wonder what kind of things you'd be able to catch there.
Oh, I should. Oh, Motiva invited me to go fishing over in Sedgemoor too. Oh, there's a lot of places I could fish here. I have to get things together. That feel when thinking about Giselle, and she would be really cute fishing.
Yeah,
She
she just
deserves to
fishing.
fish.
Is there a campus that you've been thinking about? I know it's a bit soon to choose, but...
Oh, no, I don't know much about them still yet, if I'm honest.
That's fair. I think there's much I could learn about them as well.
I heard that we're learning about them next week, yes?
Yes, we are.
Well, I'm sure that we'll both learn more then.
Lily's reaching under my door. Oh my god, it's 8:20.
Oh, okay,
I
hold on.
failed them.
I'm gonna pause. We can wrap up the Giselle conversation and you can feed them and we can continue on.
Okay.
Alright, and your lovely Bouldray's feast comes to a close, spending hours in the admittedly cool weather, but warm sun, comfortable grass, happy friends, and good food. It's hard to not be in high spirits. But you have more things to do today, ever the busybody since you got to Strixhaven. And you swing home to put on your brand new outfit for your date. is there anything in particular you want to do before you go and pick up Felisa? Like, if there's anything you want to get ready, anything you want to bring?
Hmm. I think Dove will wash their face again, and I think they'll do up their hair into like a different hairstyle, probably something a bit more like nice
Mm-hmm.
for like a date, you know what I mean? Um, Let me look over their inventory just really quick. I don't
Yeah.
think so. Mhm. Um, no, there's nothing I can really bring with me.
Okay, I just wanted to check, like, just in case I didn't want to, like, skirt you all the way over there, you know? Alright, so you go over to the Silver Quill campus to pick up Miss Felisa. And it's really easy to find the dorms because you stop and you ask around a little bit. And you sort of walk up through these grand, like, imposing, elegant, like, architectural wonder buildings. And you come up to this just as expansive and beautiful building. It looks like every other, like, every hall and every sort of structure that you see. And you walk in, and it has this expansive lobby with these beautiful marble floors, elegantly decorated with couches into a sort of like common area in the corners, some calligraphy decorating the walls, some like the occasional like plant uh, to give it a really refined sort of finery vibe to it. But the thing that catches your attention the most in the Silver Cool dorms is the massive scoreboard, is the only way I could describe it. And it is lines upon lines upon lines of floating ink with students' names on it, ranked by their exam scores next to the rooms that they are given.
Can I find Felice's name really quick?
It is extremely easy to find Miss Felice's name, and you see that she is actually in room number 10.
Does that mean that she's in 10th place?
It means that she is in 10th place, and you can tell that it is a solo room.
Oh my god. Oh,
Yes,
that's really good.
it's really good.
They will make their way and find room 10.
Okay, so you go up. You go up to the door, and you see the hallways sort of echo the same elegance as the lobby, where it's like simple, black and white with like this beautiful like marble texture breaking up the monotony. And you get to the top floors, which seem to have the solo rooms as you see less and less people walking through the hallways. And you come up to room number 10, and it also has a nameplate that says Felisa Fang on it.
Dev will give a polite knock at the door and stand back a little bit.
You hear Felisa's voice from inside yell, "Come in!"
Dev will go inside.
You come in and you see a beautifully lush dorm room. Solo as you saw. It has a carpet floor and like a double bed, like a really big bed for like a dorm room.
Oh my goodness.
And sort of this like really big like balcony door that has these sort of crushed black velvet curtains. And you see Miss Felisa leaning over a vanity, putting in some earrings. And I'll show you her outfit. I think it's really pretty. Where are you at? Where are you at?
I'll probably have to get you the outfit after
Yeah,
the
that's okay.
session because I'm looking around and I'm not finding nothing.
That's a-okay. This is what she is dressed in, and she's sort of putting on these like long dangly earrings. Yes, she's very high fashion. And you see that she doesn't really look over at you as she sort of leans back from the vanity and like turns this way and that. Her hair is sort of pulled back and long. And you see actually with the way that her outfit is, since like it shows a lot of skin, you actually get to see the myriad of like black markings that mirror the ones on her face, sort of like on her like collarbone and her arm and like her thighs. She looks very pretty. And she kindly stands up to her full height, and she sort of puts a hand on her hip and turns towards you and say, I think I'm finally ready. And you see as soon as she stands up that she is so much taller than she was when you saw her the other day, and you see that she's wearing like these beautiful like strappy heels to like match her really high fashion appearance.
Double smile and say, you look beautiful.
Oh, not nearly as beautiful as you, darling. And she gives you a wink. You can't show me up. I'm invited you out.
Well, you've certainly given me quite the competition then.
Well, what's the place for competition if not Silverquill?
That is very true. And
And
Dub will go to hold out their hand.
Oh, nice. She goes over and takes your hand and gives you a little bit of a courtesy.
And I assume both of them walk arm in arm to
Oh,
the
yes.
tavern.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. She is arm in yours, walking against you, shoulder to shoulder, chit-chatting as the zenith is going down and it's going back into twilight. And you guys go over to the Bow's End Tavern, which is as rowdy as it always is. You guys are, I don't want to say overdressed in a bad way, but you guys are definitely like pulling
We stand
heads.
out.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
pulling heads because you're like dressed up really nice because it's like a whole date. And I think if you're okay with it, I actually want to keep this sort of like regal music on in the background because it technically doesn't fit the tavern, but it's like a cute one-on-one date with a fancy lady.
Yeah, of course. Totally fine.
And she finds you both a very nice seat. I actually want to say that she gets you guys a table that's at the back, so you're away from like the hustle and bustle, and you get a little corner all to yourselves.
Nice. Deb, of course, pulls out her chair for her and pushes her
Amazing.
in a little bit.
She does that really cute thing where she like flattens her skirt to sit really daintily on the chair. She looks like she's definitely preening at the attention.
And Dub will go to take a seat across from her and say, what do they say? Does she say anything at first?
I think that she would. I think that she would open with something sort of witty, but I have to think about it because I'm really bad at being witty. I think she's gonna like make a comment that's kind of like, I couldn't have asked for better company. And she says, and what, my dear, can I get you tonight?
Oh, are you treating me?
That was the plan, yes. I invited you out to drinks. Why would I make you pay for yourself?
Sorry, 1 second.
No, take your time.
Well, I could never refuse if a pretty lady is insisting. I suppose I'll go with the amaranthine liqueur.
You see that she goes to like smile, and when you said like, "Oh, if a pretty lady is insisting," she kind of like purrs, like, "I'm very good at insisting." But her smile gets kind of bigger, and you can see her like her fangs poke out a little bit, and she says, "Well, that's crazy, Dev. You never told me that you could read minds. That's what I wanted to get."
Well, it's a skill I suppose I'm not perfect at yet, but I think it seemed fitting.
I think so as well. It's a very refined taste. It's not very popular here on campus. And you see, as she's talking, she doesn't even look away, but she kind of like pulls up a hand and like turns her head slightly to like peek over her shoulder, and you can see like almost instantly a server like goes and starts making the drinks. Have you had it before?
I haven't actually. I haven't really had the opportunity to drink too much since coming here.
That's fair. It's also new, and it's hard to get your bearings if you're partying all night.
But how has the first week been treating you? I'm unfamiliar with how Silver Quill does their classes and their work.
Yes, well, most colleges, when you're actually in one, the first couple weeks are for specifically assignments. They're usually catered to the year. So this year, mine is sort of catered towards my actual major. Uh, because I'm going into the last year where I round out my magic, my knowledge, I sort of work towards gaining my title, that sort of thing. You pick your major at the end of your third year, so I'm still at the cusp of all of the decisions.
I see, I see. I can see you are definitely at the top of your class, though. I cannot help but notice the scoreboard when I walked in.
Oh, did you? Oh, I try to be humble about it. You see as she kind of like pushes a little bit of hair behind her slightly pointed ear, but she gives like a grin. And she says, what can I say? I like to think I'm good at what I do. Uh, when you get to a lot of people are intimidated by the competitive nature of Silver Quill, but I feel like most Silver Quills really thrive in it.
I can definitely see that. I don't think there's any need to be humble about it when it's something that you do so well. Hello?
Oh, sorry. I think that she kind of laughs a bit and she says, now what did I tell you about flattery?
It only gets you everywhere.
You should never do it for free.
Well, it's not exactly free, though, is it? I mean, I get to have your company tonight, and I'm sure that you are very popular, so this must be a rare occasion.
But let's not spend the whole time talking about me. Tell me a bit about how you're settling in.
Hold on. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Take your time.
I have been doing it. It was very difficult at first, I will admit. Um, Coming from a different world, of course. But the people in the community here have definitely helped with it, I think. I've gotten more used to it, and it hasn't been too bad.
I definitely understand. But if there's one crowning jewel of Strixhaven as an establishment, I think it is the community. There's a really strong bond between students, I'm sure you've noticed.
I have noticed, and it's very pleasant. I I have a question about along the same topic, I suppose.
Yes. This
I
is the
don't
perfect time to ask.
I don't know too many other silver quills, and I'm curious what made you decide to choose it.
Hmm. That's an interesting question. I suppose I just in my experience at least, I think it is more common to sort of stumble into the right decision. Of course, some people don't always know exactly what they're getting into, but I feel like by the time you choose, you just know. So when it came around to the ceremony where I got to choose my college, I feel like there wasn't another option on my mind. And besides, I'm very good at it. And she gives a wink.
I can't deny that.
A lot of
Do
people.
you?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
A lot of people also would probably hem and haw about how it's more likely for vampires to join Silverquill or Witherbloom, and she has like finger quotes. But that's. Yes, there's a lot of us, but that's not why.
Do you specialize in the white or the black mana?
I am a white mana user.
Ooh.
Yes, a lot of people are very surprised to hear a vampire is one.
But you do stand apart from the rest, don't you?
Oh, stop. And as she sort of says that, the server friendly comes up with your drinks and sets down 2 glasses and leaves the bottle.
Oh.
And Felisa goes to swirl her drink and take a sip and kind of leans her head against her hand and say, be careful or I'll want to spend all of my nights at the tavern with you.
I don't know about that. I'm just a simple first year. I'm not that interesting.
I think you're more interesting than you give yourself credit for.
I think Dev will join her in taking a sip of their drink.
It's pretty good. It's a liqueur, so it's not like flavored. It's not a cocktail, so it has like a weird not weird. It doesn't taste weird, but it's like it's got an herbalness to it. A very floral alcohol. I don't know if you know what that means because that's a very specific taste, but it's like it definitely has a refined taste, like she said. But it goes down really smooth.
Oh, that's nice.
It tastes expensive.
Probably reminds them of like on their wine, you know?
Exactly.
But they'll kind of smile and they'll say, do you have any plans after you graduate? I know that's still not for some time.
See, I've been thinking about it. It's very common, I'm sure you've heard, for graduates to kind of stay for an extra year or two, but I'm keeping an eye out for, I suppose, not specific jobs or positions, but I'm trying to keep my ear to the ground for opportunities. I'm sure my family would want me to go home for a bit, but I suppose it just depends on what my best options are when the time comes.
Your family, where are they at?
Yes, let me look it up really quick because I wrote it down. They're from Dorador, actually. It's on the other coast.
I think I've heard of that one before.
You might have. There's another person who's from there.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know them or if somebody else knows them, but it's Dorador.
That sounds really familiar.
I'm gonna look it up really quick.
Mina.
I did not say it in the
Yep.
server. What?
Yes, you have. It was Mina. It was when Ash and I think, went to the sauna.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I meant I didn't say it in the server, not I didn't say it
Oh,
at all.
yep,
I
yep,
tried
yep.
to look at it
Sorry,
that
sorry.
way. Awesome. Okay, yeah, Mina's from there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Um, double nod at that. Do you have a big family? Small family?
I have a big family in the essence that it's a extended one, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I only have my parents and my brother, but we share the family estate with a good number of cousins, uncles, aunts, that sort of thing.
Family estate, you say?
Yes, some would even call it a mansion, a manor, even.
My goodness, I didn't know you came from money.
Oh, you don't. I'm not trying hard enough then.
And I think Dove kind of like looks over her outfit with a smile. um. Hmm.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm thinking. The um the union, was that always here before you came to Strixhaven, or did you have a hand in creating it?
Um, I didn't. I wouldn't say I created it per se. I feel like the bond between vampires is surprisingly strong. I feel like some people don't usually expect that. The stereotypes are always like the lone hunter and that sort of thing, but we're very social people. Um, so in some capacity, I'm sure it's been around for a while, but I feel like in the past 4 years that I've been here, I feel like it's really grown. Uh, but no, I didn't start it.
How did you come to have such a large part in it then? I know that you're not technically the leader per se, there's no real leader among the community like that, but you do have a large part to play in it.
Of course, I can't deny that. I was just present. I put in the work. When I first started, it was more of a situation of you just had to find others, or if you needed specific accommodations, you reached out and asked for it on an individual basis. But I. And she kind of shrugs and gives a laugh and says, well, I don't know. You check in with others and see how they're doing and what they need, and eventually they know that they can come to you for things that they need. It's that simple. I didn't mean to act like I'm the queen of the union or anything.
Oh no, I don't think you come off like that at all. I think it's a good thing that you're there as maybe even a face of the group to have people know that they can go to you for support.
I find it very rewarding, if I'm honest. I'm sure I could spend more time doing other sorts of extracurriculars, but I enjoy how I help with the union.
Is that counted as a club that you're part of? I'm not sure how that works.
It's not. I'm sure that technically it could be considered a club, but it's not like club activities as opposed to just a social network, I suppose.
Mhm.
Um, we're not listed as a club, and we don't really advertise as such. I mostly just try to grab as many first years as I can and be like, if you have any vampires, make sure to tell me.
Oh, speaking of, uh, it does sound like there is a first year who is a Dampier.
Is there?
Yes, her name is Aurora.
Oh, I'll have to reach out to her. Oh, maybe I'll try and talk to her whenever I walk you home tonight.
I don't think you'll be able to miss her.
Does
But
she
she's
give off?
very, very sweet.
Does she give off vampire vibes?
Very gothic.
A
Very.
lot of us are. It's hard to avoid.
Um, but no, I think she's very sweet, and maybe it would be good for her.
I think so as well. I don't presume to say that every person needs it, but I think when this might be a hard analogy, I suppose, to understand if you don't get it. And she like does finger quotes, but I think being vampiric is something that does need a really strong support system, um, because historical context, and I'm sure you can fill in reasons why it would be good to have people you can turn to and talk to about things.
Of course, it's a lifestyle that I can only assume would be very different. So having someone there that understands, I think, is important. Uh, and it does sound like there's a lot of rules for you regarding that lifestyle on campus. So I assume it's even more important.
Yes, I don't want to say that I think that we're burdened with being like good vampires or proving that vampires are fine. I feel like vampires in general are more accepted than they have been in the past, but you can't escape that they do have a predatory reputation. And that's just something we have to be okay with proving people wrong about. I'm making it sound worse than it is, I promise. We've come a long way. Uh, but it's still there, you know.
Oh, no, I believe you, of course. Um, Vampires, I was actually quite surprised to hear that in other worlds, vampires are seen as such an evil creature. Where I come from, um, but I suppose where I come from, it's more gray regarding everyone, even things like vampires and the like. They're still just people, and some may disagree where I come from, but I suppose that is the upside to living in a large melting pot.
I definitely agree. I'm honestly glad to hear it. There aren't usually issues here, but I feel like every year there's always like the new student that's never seen a vampire, and suddenly there's 30 vampires on campus, you know?
Well, you're very welcoming.
Thanks. I try to be. I am the welcoming committee after all.
Do you have room for a job or any other clubs, or does it normally occupy all of your time?
I do have room for other extracurriculars. I with it makes me almost sound like lazy to say that like I don't want to fill up all my room from second to second. But I find that I get a satisfying amount of work with the union and classwork and that sort of thing that I don't really feel the need to have a club or a job. I suppose that this year could be the year I change that, but I like my free time.
I think Dope kind of smiles at that and says, "Personally, I never know what to do with myself when I have free time. I always have to fill in it. I always have to fill it in."
Well, at least here there's always something to be doing. Be careful you don't run yourself into the ground, though, busybody.
I think I had it under control when I was home, and I think I'll be just fine here as well. But I thank you for your concern. I'll
Of course.
be sure to be careful.
It's my job as a fourth year to be concerned for our new first years.
You can't be that much older than me, though, can you?
I didn't make her age.
That's okay. You can pretend like I didn't ask.
No, it's okay. I'll make a comment on it and then I'll just brush over the number because I do have a response. And she would just give a shrug and say, age doesn't matter, but I am more experienced. And she gives like a wink.
Well, I will never ask a lady for her specific age, of course. It's rude to do so.
Of course, especially so when she's a vampire.
Of course. I'm learning all the time. Please forgive me.
It's okay. We're here to educate. And she sort of finishes off her glass and pours herself another one. She's not going through these drinks really fast. She's only like filling them up like halfway. It's like a rocks glass, right? You don't get a lot when you get like a drink on the rocks, but she's just filling up a new one. And she says, and I appreciate this time, even if I do have to educate this willful little first year.
I just want to make sure I'm not being rude towards anyone.
I appreciate that you have the capacity to worry about it in advance. I feel like most people care more after they find out.
I think Dove will kind of shrug at that and say, I think there was already a time where the two of us were alone, and if you wanted to do anything at that point, you would have, and I trust you, and I trust Vicus, and I know that you aren't monsters, I suppose. It's as simple as that.
I appreciate that. I'm even glad that you said that about Vicus. I think that he could use a few more friends to help iron out those edges.
For the mistake that I made, he could have easily done more with that, but I saw the restraint that he had, and I know that it may be because of the rules and not necessarily because of me, but he didn't have to hold himself back in that moment, but he did, and I think that means a lot.
I think so too. And she's kind of just like smiling fondly at you as you're talking.
Oh, but I don't mean to talk about other people on our date, of course. Please excuse me.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. As I said, I'm just glad that other members of the unions are getting such nice friends. But please, continue on with what you were going to say.
Well, I know that the union does occupy a lot of your time, but what other hobbies do you have?
Well, I do like to partake in a little bit of. Calling it a hobby is maybe a stretch, but I do have an interest in fashion. That's a very common Silver Quill hobby. I like things like calligraphy. I suppose my main hobby is just sort of mingling. I like to talk to a lot of different kinds of people here because there's just so many people that come to a place like Strixhaven.
Dove nods. Definitely an understanding of that.
So some people could say that that's boring, but I spend a lot of my time sort of like how I met you when I was just sort of wandering around talking to people in the middle of the bar.
Oh, I definitely agree. I think I thrive when I get to spend time with others, and I really have went out of my way to meet a lot of interesting folks since coming here.
I agree. It's honestly how you can meet some of the best people. I've met some of my best friends just going up to somebody who didn't look like they wanted to be talked to and made them listen to me.
And there are some that have been a bit more standoffish. But I hope to become their friend in time.
uh, call me stubborn, but if anything, I like those types the most. It makes it more fun when they see you as a friend in the end.
It is very rewarding, isn't it?
You should try a hand at my friend Rutha. She's particularly icy.
Rutha, why does that name sound familiar?
I know that Sarah's talked to her, so Sarah might have talked about her, but I don't know if you know a ton about
Yes.
her.
She's a Prismari student, isn't she?
Yes, she's an artist. From a famous line of
Interesting.
artists, even.
Oh, I believe one of my roommates has actually spoken to her before.
Oh, Philin?
Yes,
Yes, I met her.
I think I remember her speaking of you as well.
Yes, I was there when she went to speak to Rutha about some matter or the other.
Well, I suppose it's a much smaller world than we may think.
Oh, don't you know? Everyone knows everyone here.
I've been beginning to see that, I think.
Should be careful to really cultivate that reputation early if you want. People will hold on to embarrassing stories for years after.
I think it might be already too late for myself for some of those stories, but you live and you learn. But, you know, I did have a question for you. And I think you may know what it is, but I was being a gentleman, and I didn't want to bring it up immediately, of course, to someone such as yourself, but I can't help but be curious.
You wanted to wait until I had a couple of drinks in me before you asked, hmm?
I don't know if I would say that, but I was still curious about the feeding, if you were still willing to share it with me. If not, I understand.
I'm always willing to make something into a learning moment. And she goes to put her glass down and sort of drag a finger along the rim in a circle. She's gonna say, well, this is all stuff that's very easy to look up if you ever want more information. But you can't really compare feeding to eating. I feel like a lot of people want to make a line directly from, oh, drinking blood is the same as eating a steak. And to some people it could be that, but for lack of a better way to describe it, it's sort of a some people would consider it a metaphysical situation over a physical one. It's the blood doesn't feed us like calories do. It's a replenishing your own essence with the essence of another person. There's very magical and metaphysical properties to blood, um, and especially when you drink directly from people, which is why I want to again iterate. I was definitely not going to bite you in that bathroom. Uh, it just sort of has a quality to it. Passion would be incorrect, but well, when you're a living, breathing person and you're holding another living, breathing person very close together, I think it's hard for that not to be an intimate situation. In my opinion. Other people could be different, but
think I understand where you're coming from. Um,
It
does that mean that? Go ahead.
no, you go ahead. I was gonna make a dumb joke.
Does that mean that typically you? I know there's a blood drive. Does that mean you typically drink from like a previous collection of blood instead of from a person?
Yes, that is the preferred way to ingest blood on campus, and it's also a preferred method uh, for most vampires that live in cities, especially born vampires. Turned vampires can sometimes have different opinions on that sort of thing. Um, I prefer to drink my blood like from a glass, like just from the bottle. Um, and we keep blood on hand specifically to help heal vampiric students. It's a cheaper alternative to potions because with blood we can heal ourselves. And also as a way to eat if we don't have any on hand. Um, that's my preference, and that's most students' preferences in the unions. I know a couple that like to have partners for that sort of thing, but it is not the most common way to feed.
I see.
Yes, as long as no foul play is happening and nobody is like, obviously people can come to faculty if anything's happening, but as long as everything is squared away and done properly, there's no regulations against feeding directly. It's just you cannot hunt specifically.
It does sound like you have at least one, maybe not problem member, but troubled member. I take it that he might prefer to have a partner for that sort of thing.
I have heard that, yes. And I will reserve my judgment.
Oh, I place no judgment upon him.
Okay. I also don't either, for the record, of course. I wanted to put that out there. It's just not to my taste.
I think, in my opinion, it sounds like it could get rather messy, and you don't strike me as someone who would appreciate that very much.
I think if I wanted something messy, it would have to be a very premeditated affair. And she gives you kind of like a coy look, you know?
Yeah.
Like the insinuation is there. But of course, those are outliers.
When
I
you
hope
met.
this. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, she was just gonna say, I hope this information has been enlightening. Since you're so interested in us vampires.
It has been. I like to get to know people, I suppose, and this is in a vein of that. But thank you for telling me. You didn't have to.
Of course, again, like I said, I don't mind it. And it's, you can crack open a textbook anywhere, and they would tell you this.
I know that we're probably a bit over on time. We can end whenever.
Okay, it sounded like you had a question. Is there another question you wanted to ask, and then we can wrap up?
I did, but I don't know if I really I don't know if it was like really an important question. I'm fine without asking it.
No, you can ask it. Come on.
I think
Give
Deb
me
was just going to. I think Deb was just going to also ask, when you met Falin, did you charm her?
I did. She was a bit bewildered, like you were, and Rutha is always sore with me when I do it, but there's no harm in it. People would feel much better if they just let me help them feel nice about themselves.
You're a very interesting lady. I'm sure you hear that all the time.
Thank you. I like to think that I like to think that I am very interesting.
I think you are, and your company has been one that's very pleasant to keep.
You see that she just goes, and she like has this sort of like smile as she like looks at you over her glass. And I think that's where I'm going to end it.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, if there's any questions for Miss Felisa, for Giselle, Rowan, honestly, also like Melwithorn, any of the characters you talked to today, if you want to throw me
Yeah.
questions and DMs, you can do that. And then we'll RP your other 3 conversations you had at your picnic. And I'm going to stop recording.
Yay!